Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
100% ready to go. It's been a long time coming, and I just can't wait to be out there.
That's why we play football in the SEC, trying to go get it done.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
All right, Sherlock Buchanan. All right, put your detective hat on. I'm going to read you a sentence.
Okay.
All right, and you just tell me if you're decoding it any kind of way. All right.
All right.
This is from Coach Elko yesterday on the Aggie Football Hour. All right. People who get to know me will know that it will probably be a game-time decision for the rest of the season. That's how we handle things. We have a lot of real, honest conversations internally, but those stay internal. This on the decision of who will be quarterback on Saturday. Game-time decision moving forward, or maybe that's how he always rolls. He decides right before.
Interesting.
Decode that for me.
I have two good quarterbacks that I have a lot of trust in both of them. And not only do you have to be physically ready to play, but you're going to have to be mentally, and you're going to have to play well, not just on Saturday, but you're going to have to play well during the week of practice.
And it looks like Connor Wigman, by the way, has been practicing. The imaging turned out good. This is from yesterday as well. We did not find any more problems that we were dealing with, Elko stated. It's an AC sprain. Everything else is very much intact. We're just in the process of now recovery, rehab, trying to figure out where he's able to get himself to. So far, he has returned to throwing, test out his shoulder. So we'll see how things come out.
Just seems to me that, you know, we've all done this job long enough. You see that AC sprain's not an uncommon injury. You see
it can linger, though.
And it does seem to take several weeks to recover from. Now, maybe Connor's a fast healer in the same way Jabri Barber was a fast healer. We thought he was going to be out for the year, and he's playing, you know, by the third game.
Look, honestly, I think it was possible that Connor played last Saturday. He warmed up hoping to go. I don't think it was all a charade. I think Coach Elko had probably made up his decision which direction he was going to go, but he was warming up, he was testing it. And if he felt great, he was going to lobby to play.
And I still think that, look, I have great confidence in Connor and now great confidence in Marcel.
Yeah.
But I still think if your quarterback isn't close to 100% healthy, that you have to go with the one who is.
Well, I think it depends on your quarterback room, right?
Right.
Certain quarterback rooms,
in
this situation, right. In this situation, you have a guy that has been outstanding in the pretty much 8 quarters he's played in.
Yes.
So,
yes, you have.
Yeah, he's been great. Here's the quote from Elko yesterday. He was able to throw it around a little bit today, which is how Wednesdays have gone. We will see what it looks like through the back end of the week as we make our decision heading into Saturday.
Yeah, look, who knows how much information Mike's actually given out. You know, he told us Jabri Barber was several weeks away probably, and then he played against. Right. And I don't have a problem with that. I understand.
I mean, he played, but he's not the he's getting closer to being the contributor.
Well, he made some serious contributions. But anyway, just if you can throw it around a little bit on when, I don't know how, 72 hours you're ready to play a big-time college football game.
So in your opinion, Marcel will be the guy?
Yeah, I've always thought that. Now, I could be wrong, obviously, but I've always thought that's going to be the situation this week.
Here's another quote from him that I thought was interesting because I didn't think it at the time, but in looking back, maybe he's got a point. Talking about playing there at Florida at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, it was loud at kickoff. I think it affected us early and affected some of the things we could do with the snap count. Our kids were rattled on the first drive. We had to settle things down. He did say they settled down. I guess with some of the penalties, or I don't know, like I didn't really, he knows his team. way better than we do. So, I mean, he must have seen a couple of things.
Well, when and he more than made up for it. But when Cyrus goes on the second or third play of the game, and he goes in motion, and he drifts 2 yards past the line of scrimmage for a penalty, those are things you just shouldn't happen. Some pre-snap penalties. There was later in the game, Shanahan got a personal foul when you're inside the 20. If there's any time to keep your wits about you, it's when you're in the red zone. And yet, I'm starting to feel like this A&M team's not just going to be a good team, but a smart team, which we haven't seen a lot of sometimes. And I've talked about Jabri Barber. We talked before the game, before the show. Jabri Barber had a screen-off block on a Amari Daniels pass in the flat and went for like 15 yards. And Jabri could have gotten that blindside block penalty, but instead he just kind of backs into the tackler and he has his arms out. And then on the Cyrus Allen long touchdown pass, you saw it. Noah Thomas running downfield and waiting for him, come this way, this way.
Gives him the pass.
Those are two heady plays by the guys without the ball. And I think that that's one of those little bitty things that gives me a little bit more optimism moving forward.
I don't have the bite in front of me, but he did speak of getting better each week. And there has been, you can see it. Am I right?
Yeah.
From week 1 to week 2 to week 3, and I understand the caliber of opponents and all this, but you have seen a better looking football team that has advanced, I think, in the trenches. Okay? I think offensively they have obviously looked better. Overall, they have been a better product.
Yeah. Now, it's true that Florida is not as good on defense, especially against the run, as Notre Dame.
Right.
But that said, I thought the offensive line played pretty well against Notre Dame. And, if you give them 3 games together, playing together, then I think that they would, it makes sense they would improve.
Do you think now, looking back, if Marcel was the quarterback of that game, they win?
I don't know that. I
don't know if that's fair to say.
Right. I do think that
it's an extra element for them to think about.
I do think that that Mike might have learned from that, and that if you're in a game and you've got a quarterback that's just completely ineffective, having the worst day of his life, why not give another guy a shot, especially now that you've seen that other guy be successful?
Now that we've seen him, but I think it would have been unfair for a defense as talented and as smart as that Notre Dame defense for a redshirt freshman to be put in, all right, win it for us now, guys. I think that would have been very difficult.
I would have liked to. We've talked about this. I think we agree on. I would have liked to have seen some packages for Marcel to come in and run the football here and there. But again, that's in the past. What they're doing moving forward is really intriguing.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about Bowling Green. I'm going to do later on for our subscribers a little breakdown, a little intel. But one of the things that came out of my research is not only is this a very veteran team, which we've known, but I talked to an insider yesterday. Everybody who plays is a 4th or 5th year player. Right. That's how they're stacked, right? And those are the types of teams that should scare any Power 4 team, right? That's why they went toe-to-toe with Penn State. That's why last year they beat, Georgia Tech. Last year they were only down a score at the half to the national champions, Michigan. So this is a team that can play with the big dogs, that does not get intimidated in a big environment. But there's a player that I think we need to watch out for. He's their tight end. I don't know if you've seen much of Harold Fannin Jr. Huge game against Penn State, 137 yards receiving in that game. He is a very, very dangerous player. I don't know if this is his 4th or 5th year. He used to be a linebacker, has converted to tight end, and he just makes play after play after play. Yeah,
he had 130 yards receiving against Penn State and a touchdown. I think he made some All-American teams even last year. I think it'll be interesting to see how they cover him.
Yeah.
Are you going to put Marcus Ratliff on him? Or
the linebackers?
He may be too fast for a linebacker.
Be, right? So that, and I know if we're having these discussions, Jay Bateman's having these discussions, right?
They've already got that one figured out.
Yeah, they're guys, stop.
But You know, it is interesting. And it's not going to be the same guy covering him all the time. We understand that too.
Well, and also, apparently, Connor Bazelak does not like to go downfield a lot. He keeps everything kind of close, so see a lot, which is, to me, I think very interesting. You continue to see quarterbacks that are going to get rid of the ball quickly against a defensive front that would love for you to hold on to the ball just for a second longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
But we're not going to see that, apparently, again.
Well, I think their coaches see it on field too. Yeah, A&M's not getting the sacks; they are getting pressure, and they're realizing, hey, we got to get rid of the ball fast.
So Harold Fannin Jr. this year, 19 receptions, 218 yards, 1 touchdown. His long for 42 yards. Last year, 44 catches, 623 yards, 6 touchdowns at the tight end position.
He's good, man. That sounds like an NFL player, perhaps. And I know he's a big guy.
He is big. In the year prior, 17 catches, 204, 12-yard average, 1 touchdown with a long of 30.
You know, you said all the guys out, what a junior and senior dominated team there.
Yeah.
Shouldn't every team from that group of 5 aspire to be that in today's college football?
1,000%.
Let me go get the guys who aren't playing at from the Power 4 level.
Yep.
And give them an opportunity to play, because when we have a good player, they're going to come and take him away.
Yes, they are. They are.
Like A&M did.
I would be building my team with men, right?
Yes.
Not children.
Right.
And sometimes men may not have the athleticism as the younger kids, but they got this part. They've got the experience.
Right. And when you bring in a guy there and he flourishes, Cassius Howell, then those pesky Aggies are going to dip in there and say, hey, why don't you come play for us? So do the turnabout, go find their good players that aren't quite playing enough and wants to play more. And if I was a group of 5 coach, that's what I'd aspire to do every year.
I'm not banking on it, but how about just because we're in a dream world right now, why not a Cassius Howell pick 6? Why not?
Yeah,
or
why not?
scoop and score.
Or maybe he'll do get the scoop and score I like.
I like that. You don't like
more likely he gets the hit or the pressure that forces an errant pass that becomes a pick 6, even though we've seen it before.
We have.
We've seen the defensive linemen get them.
I would love to see it. All right, if you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, call us, text us, 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. If you call, we'll pick it up on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Look, let me just give you a little programming update.
Okay.
Stephen McGee's coming up in a little while. We like him, right?
Yeah, we do. We like Steve McGee.
Are you familiar with Ryan Swope?
I am, like him too.
Swope is going to be on the show, okay? We're going to have him. Now, if you are listening on The Zone, I hope you continue to listen on The Zone, but you may want to get to YouTube or the CW at 9:20. That's because Jim Turner is going to be breaking down not only A&M Florida, Bowling Green, what they do well.
Let me ask you something. So
I'm going to answer something.
If I can't get to a TV,
you can listen.
Can I watch it later?
You can watch it later.
I can watch it. I can get home later and
you can watch it.
Go on my computer and see
I had a guy who says, hey, I watch you on YouTube TV, but sometimes the last hour isn't on because we're only on for 2 hours on CW. I was like, bro, you can watch us on YouTube 24/7.
Okay.
Why is my voice talking like this?
I don't know, but it's good to know.
I like when you do it too.
Okay.
Hey. All right, so we'll have Jim Turner at 9:20, Aaron Torres at 9:35, the Fan Show at 10 o'clock. That is the rundown. All right, so that's what we're going to have here on the program. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, Juan Marcos Palomo.
Is he going to talk like this?
I hope not.
Please do a hit like that.
No, I can't. My voice just,
Oh, you're just a man.
No.
Just a man.
No, not a man.
Tell me something.
Well, A&M soccer will be playing Missouri tonight at 6 p.m.
They better win.
Aggies look to bounce back after a 6-0 loss to UConn.
I said that like I was mad at my children. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
No, it's okay. It's not my fault.
Yeah, well, Soak the Shocker? You don't know what that means.
No, I don't. Volleyball travels to play the University of Northern Iowa tonight, where they look to extend their record to 8-0. Afena Casapala was a standout performer at the Aggie Invitational this past weekend, earning her 3rd SEC Defensive Player of the Week honor and 1st SEC Player of the Week. 3rd.
3rd, okay.
3rd, yeah.
Is that good? I think it's good.
I think good things come in threes.
Yeah.
And the SEC announced it will relaunch the SEC Volleyball Championship beginning in 2025. The last one was held in 2005. So that'll be played in Savannah, Georgia.
Hey, you had a point you wanted to bring up during the break because apparently Tennessee is trying to switch up the way they do their season ticket package. Kind of explain that to us so OB can go on a rant.
Yeah, so Tennessee fans for all sports, not just football, will be charged a 10% talent fee on tickets to help pay athletes as part of a new revenue sharing plan set to start in 2025. Shared with season ticket holders on Tuesday. So, I don't know, pretty crazy stuff.
Ready? Here it comes, guys.
That is despicable. College athletics already just feeds off the loyalty of their fans, and they have no loyalty to them. So now what you're going to say is, hey, not only do I want you to have to give a $1,500 donation to be eligible to buy seats, and the best seats that you're going to have to get, if you want to get good seats, you're going to have to then also buy season tickets to other sports so you can get loyalty points. But if you get the worst season ticket, it's going to be like $450. But oh wait, that's not enough. Now I'm going to charge you an extra 10% so we can contribute towards NIL. How about this? How about you trim your own athletic department somewhat? I mean, how many associate this you have, associate that you have? What's the word I'm looking for when someone, they're big in TV, consultants.
Oh, yeah,
how many consultants do you have? How about instead of always taking advantage of your fans and expecting more and more from them, you, as an athletic director, take a pay cut?
I really like that. I hope we clipped that. That was good. That was very good, Obi. Thank you for that. I agree with everything he said. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Heisman.
Yeah.
Some Heisman.
Heisman watch. Yeah,
let's do the Heisman watch. Right now, all right, so if you are looking to maybe help out Tennessee's athletic department, hopefully not, or maybe you're looking to help out A&M, why don't you think about Prize Picks, friends? Sign up for $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get those $50 bonuses. It's guaranteed because Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports, and it is the very best. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive those $50 once you play in $5. And right now, for the month of September, every time you play Caleb Williams, and all he needs is one passing yard, you're going to win. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win. Make that paper. Make it rain.
It's more of a drizzle.
You know, I make it hail with my pennies and my quarters. Anyway, Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest, most exciting way to play DFS is just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of players, including the pros and the sharks, you're actually just going for more than or less than 2 to 6 players stat projection. I'm going to have my lineup later on today. I know Matthew Dawson will be in studio helping me out with that. This week is a bounce back week for me. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive those $50 once you play in $5 lineups. It's Prize Picks. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. I don't even know if I said that in the first segment. I feel like I got to do it twice now. Everybody knows. Do you think they know? Yeah, they know that this is the Go Hour presented by somebody? They do by CC Creations. Yeah. The show itself is called what?
TexAgs Live.
There we go. I almost got him. I was trying. Presented by who?
David Gardner's Jewelers. He's a gym up. Yeah.
He is. And the studio, it's called the
Rollo Insurance Studio.
So John in Cyprus sent us a text, which made me chuckle. I really don't know what Diddy did. I just know what he did is going to end him up in prison for a long time. And I know he's a deviant, Juan Marcos, but I don't really know the details. And I don't want people texting the show or flooding Olin's Twitter account with, do not do it. Do not flood him with what Diddy did or any memes or pics of what Diddy did. Don't.
I don't want to know.
Do not do it. Anyway.
I guess I won't be singing that song anymore about waking up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
You used to sing that song?
My son used to when he was like 5 years old.
All right, let's not get fired. Let's do the Heisman Watch, brought to you by Shurtleff Law Firm. They are a good friend of TexAgs. They've been a friend of ours for a long time. Hunter Shurtleff is a good friend of the fan show, too. He will not be here tonight, though. Call Shurtleff Law today when you need your lawyer for your business or your personal issues. We trust him with all of our legal needs. All right, Olin Buchanan, shall we get into your Heisman Watch? I've got the list. Do you have yours?
I don't have it with me.
Well, I can start you off because number 5 is a gentleman by the name of Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, I think, if he's not leading the nation in passing, he's got to be like in the top 2 or 3. He hasn't really been tested yet, but he's putting up huge numbers. And I still think he's my choice to win it all at the end of the year, because not only does he have a lot of talent around him, and not only does he have a lot of talent, and he's a good passer and an outstanding runner as well, but he has Lane Kiffin calling the plays for him. So,
More than likely, a former Saban assistant will have a finalist in New York.
Okay. More than likely, you're right.
Which is very easy to say today. So we'll see how the season plays out. Number 4 is a quarterback from Oregon, Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, Dillon Gabriel.
Completed 20 of 24 last week, 291, and 2 touchdowns in that 49-14 victory over Oregon State.
Yes, he did. Thank you for helping me out on that. For the year this year, I think he leads the nation in completion percentage. He's completing 84% of his passes for 914 yards, 6 touchdowns. The guy's thrown for over 3,000 yards, I think, already in like 4, maybe 5 years of college football, and now on his way to doing it at his 3rd stop.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, so...
he also has a 54-yard touchdown on the year running in.
He had last week?
Yep.
Yeah, so, he's having a spectacular year.
Number 3 is a gentleman that I think he debuted on this list last week.
Yeah, he didn't play this week. They were open. But again,
he hasn't done anything to get off the list.
Ashton Jeanty, the running back for Boise State, leading the nation, averaging 10.2 yards per carry. We'll go back to their last game against Oregon. They lost at 37-34, but not because of him. He had 25 carries for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. That was after the season opener against Georgia Southern, when he ran 20 times for 267 yards and 6 touchdowns. He already has 9 touchdowns this year in 2 games. 3 of them have been on runs of 70 yards or more.
Fantastic. Number 2, Quinniffin.
Yeah, look, the way I've said it, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. He got hurt last week, and that's going to hurt his candidacy. That may not be fair that it hurt his candidacy, but look, it wasn't fair to your man Hendon Hooker.
Right.
It was, and I think he still should have won it that year.
I did too.
It wasn't fair if you go all the way back to 2007 with Dennis Dixon. He was going to win it. He got hurt, so that it happens. He still completed 14 of 16 for 185 yards. Yeah, it was against UTSA, but those are good numbers. Quite frankly, in a game like that, a lot of starting quarterbacks in the Heisman trophy contenders will put up those kind of numbers because most coaches will get their guy out in a game like that. But again, on the year, 691 yards, 8 touchdowns for the team that's currently ranked number 1 in the country.
Olin, number 1 is a guy that I'm all on. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. I think he's got potential to be in New York for sure. Obviously, he's number 1 right now. Can he sustain it? That's the question.
Yeah, Cam Ward. He's for you this year what Hendon Hooker was a couple of years ago. You were all in on Hendon Hooker, I think, before everybody else was. And
I just saw a playmaker, a guy who can make things happen.
And that's Cam Ward from West Columbia, Texas. So. There's a reason to root for a guy. He's a fellow Texan. Last week against Ball State, he was probably mailing it in and still had 19 completions on 28 attempts, 346 yards, 5 touchdowns. On the year, he's completing 73% of his passes for 1,035 yards, 11 touchdowns. He does have 1 interception. It was in the first game of the year against Florida. But he's thrown for at least 304 yards in every game thus far.
I like him. I like him a lot. And as you know, I have a lot of family that roots for the University of Miami.
Yes,
so when they're not playing A&M, I like to see them do well. So hopefully they continue.
Well,
but I'm not a big Mario Cristobal fan, though. Other than he's Team Cuban.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, I just don't think he's a good coach. He's a good recruiter.
Yeah.
But he has proven to make some dumb mistakes.
Maybe he's learned from some of those dumb mistakes.
How do you not?
Well, I think from now on, if he has a lead in the ball, he'll take a knee.
Yeah, that would be smart. Yeah. Hey, before we hit a break and bring in Stephen McGee, did you see, this is from a few days ago, so you probably already saw it, Kirk Herbstreit's top 5 performing players of Week 3. Did you see the list?
I did not.
I'm going to read you some of these names. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Jalen Milroe?
Yes, I am.
He had a pretty big game.
He did. He's playing real well.
Dylan Gabriel. You just mentioned him a moment ago.
Had a huge game.
R. Mason Thomas from OU. Okay. We also have R.J. Harvey.
Mason Thomas?
Yeah.
What does he play?
R.J. Mason Thomas is, I think, a running back.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna get to one Aggie here in a minute. Avery Johnson, you're familiar with him?
Yeah, Kansas.
Kansas
State.
Brandon Swinson from LSU. And there's an Aggie who made the list.
Who? Brandon Swinson from LSU. I'm not familiar with him.
Are you familiar with A&M's backup quarterback by the name of Marcel Reed?
Redefining the Reed option.
Marcel Reed coming in on number 5, and I don't know if these are, ranked, but it has him as number 5 of Kirk Herbstreit's top performing players of Week 3.
Yeah.
I just like when other people notice stuff that we notice.
You know what? I don't know who couldn't notice that last week.
And I know Steve Spurrier had some comments about Marcel recently.
Yes, he did.
You talked to him.
I did talk to him. Well, let's not go that far, but
you guys had a pleasant conversation.
We had a pleasant conversation in Gainesville. Look, Steve Spurrier, his whole career, has been a guy that's going to say what's on his mind, and he doesn't care. And I love that about it. He doesn't care what people think about it. He was a guy that said FSU stands for Free Shoes University. He's the guy that said you can't spell citrus without UT, meaning the University of Tennessee, because they're always going to the Citrus Bowl. He was the guy that said he loved to play Georgia early in the year because you could always count on him to have a couple of good players suspended.
He's fantastic.
He's fantastic. So he watched that game, and he said, well, I think the quarterback that he saw, Marcel Reed, is better than the other guy. Now, I don't know how often he's actually seen Connor Wigman play, but he was impressed with Marcel Reed, as was everyone else.
As we should be. He was great. OB, in the last, 2 months, where have you gone to eat where you've been the most full?
Oh, the most full. I tell you what, not only the most full, but most fulfilled. Full and fulfilled. That would be 1775.
Now, if I didn't tell you that was, because I didn't tell you, by the way, if I just asked you that randomly on the street, hey, man, last time you ate, what was the most filled and best food you ate, man?
1775.
What if they asked you in Spanish?
I would say, El 1775.
In French?
Oui, 1775.
Australian?
1775, mate. Crikey.
Anyway, that's the only country. I'm not going to any more countries. I'm not going to go, because there's a couple of other countries I was thinking about, like I may not go there.
We're going to have to bring in Zane for one of them.
Veteran, family-owned, prime meats, handmade sides, handmade desserts. When I'm telling you it is the best barbecue in town, I don't remember who we were talking to. We were talking to somebody the other day, and they go, oh, you guys are right. You have the right barbecue spot.
Yeah, they're really good. And, oh, by the way, if you go, do yourself a favor and make sure you get that macaroni and cheese.
Queso mac and cheese.
Queso mac and cheese.
Look, I don't try to overrate things. I'm telling you, you will eat it. You'll be like, oh, gosh, Nuño, you're right. That's the bomb.
Yeah, you'll be as impressed with 1775 as Steve Spurrier was with Marcel Reed.
Maybe even more. It's open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until sold out. So that means they're open today. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m., 8203 Raymond Stosser Parkway, Suite C, College Station, Texas, 1775, txbbq.com. Call them up, 979.
It's Larapin.
Larapin, 979-492-6241. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Got OB with us, obviously, and Stephen McGee, or QB1 Paragon Financial. What's up, man?
I just showed up trying to get some of this OB making it drizzle money.
He was making it drizzle. I make it hail because I have pennies. So I just throw my pennies in there.
You make it hail?
Hey, so
McGee can make it like monsoon.
Yeah.
With all the cash that he's made on that
monsoon
that
with
NFL
quarters.
career.
Hey, quarterback situation, and just after we saw what Marcel was able to do, I see the smile. Where do we take this?
Getting this show going early. You know, it's an interesting. It's a big decision. Obviously, it's only one guy can play at that position. You know, you have two really good receivers. They're both playing. There's no issues. But obviously, the first things first is you got to have Connor healthy before you enter the discussion. But I think what the injury does allow them to do is to say, hey, Connor, we're not rushing you back. Not until you're 100% healthy. And then it allows you a couple weeks probably to see Marcel out there and say, hey, like, are you really the guy? Was Florida's defense not good? Was Florida's defense good and you just made them look bad? Are you the right fit for our team? And then, you also have to make the decision not just for this year, but you're also looking down the road as well, right? Because more than likely, whichever route you go, and injuries are always, we've seen it with Connor, but we've seen it in years past with other quarterbacks too. So, there's, even if you go with, say, Marcel, there's a good chance that you're going to need someone else to step in. Now, if in that situation, then does Connor redshirt? Does he just say, hey, I'm going to sit out to preserve an extra year? So is it now Henderson? There's a lot of variables here, but ultimately you're looking out and you're saying, hey, which guy is going to help our football team, at A&M today, win the most football games? And I think that's what you get paid millions of dollars across the road to decide. I'm not going to sit here and say that's an easy decision. I know a lot of Aggie fans right now love what they saw from Marcel. Sure. And I've said this to everybody all week too, is quarterbacks are like cars. Everyone wants the new one, right? And so that's generally going to be the backup guy. And I get that. I see it more, I see it differently than a lot of people, I think. And so I look at the lenses from what's repeatable and where can you have long-term success. So Marcel played incredible, and there was something different with the football team. I think you could kind of feel it. There's momentum. And then I think we've talked a lot about the receiving core and some of the concerns, especially versus a defense that can come up and challenge you like Notre Dame did. How do you change that is with a athletic quarterback, right? Because in man coverage, what happens? They all turn and run, right? And they're gone. So if you have an athletic quarterback as a defensive coordinator, now you're scared, right? Mm-hmm. And so now it forces them to play single high zone, get the safety down the box, but they don't turn and run. They can keep eyes on the quarterback if he takes off running. So what does that do? It opens up those guys on the outside. How many of these plays last week were guys open in space, in zone coverage? Is that because Florida's defense is not good? I think there's a combination there. They busted on almost every explosive play we had. There's guys running open. But the flip side of that argument is to say, how much of that was really created because you have an athletic quarterback? Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wonder, does this remind you of when everybody was calling for you to replace Reggie McNeil?
Well, it reminds me of Gerard, people calling on Gerard to replace me because I separated my shoulder. Remember in my senior year? It's the exact same scenario. Yeah. He came in and played well.
And how did you feel about that?
Oh, well, of course it stings. You're like, hey, I'm giving this school everything you got. But
did you recognize, though, that did you see, like, man, he is playing good?
Yeah, he is playing good. Yeah. I remember Coach Sherman saying, hey, like, you got to get healthy. We'll worry about that down the road. He's like, you got a lot of football in front of you. And that was the thing he always reminded me is like, hey, this guy may be – it's hard to put that guy on the bench when he's going out there and putting 400 yards on, every game. It's like, I get that. And but it doesn't make it easy, right? Because you're a competitor. You want to be out there and you want to be playing. And so quarterback is playing tough, right? People, when things go good and you're the superstar, right? Everybody wants to be around you. But when things go badly or you get hurt, it's a show me game. And it's so quick. It's transitory. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah. Welcome to sports, but especially welcome to quarterback. Yeah. I mean, Mike Elko experiences that as the head coach. I mean, I'm out there talking to Bronny, and he's saying how many people are already bagging on Elko. I'm like, this is the guy I've been wanting for 5+ years. How are we even in this conversation right now, this is the guy for our program.
I know. I can't tell you how many people were calling for Greg Walker to replace me at Tice in 7th grade. Tice
Tigers, baby. Yeah, quarterback controversy.
Anyway, no, seriously though, you've been a staunch supporter and proponent for Connor Wigman.
Yep.
So based on the information you have and based on what you've seen, who should start, in your opinion, against Bowling Green?
If both guys are healthy, if both guys are fully ready to go, different conversation. Look, to me, I think Marcel's earned the right to play another week right now, especially with Connor being hurt. The team operated differently. This is a completely different conversation than if I'm saying, hey, like I'm Ohio State or I'm Alabama, and I've got a bunch of guys out there that can make plays happen. I think right now the concern I have at Texas A&M is a lack of explosive football players on the offensive side. Marcel Reed brings that element to the team that we so badly need. If I had a bunch of playmakers out there, now my decision is different because I'm saying, hey, I want a guy that can get the ball out of his hands into the playmaker's hands consistently. Right. That's probably going to be Connor Wigman because I think he's more the NFL quarterback prototype. Marcel, I still want to see him consistently deliver accurate throws and good decisions, which he did a great job against Florida. I did not see that against McGee State. I thought he really struggled. And so that was my concern. How is that going to translate to on the road against Florida? Right. They're better than McNeese. And boy, it was a different kid. I mean, he's out there making plays. Now, here's the other element. Where Tom Brady or slow guys like myself, it's no backs protection. Here comes the safety. He's unaccounted for. Well, we have to get rid of the football. We can't make that guy miss. Right. Marcel Reed, on 2nd and 22, what did he do? He made that guy miss.
Yeah.
Right. So he overcame what we would call coaching.
He also stood in the face of a blitz and delivered a pass to Amari Daniels in the flat that turned out to be about a 15-yard gain.
Exactly, and he was hot on that route. And so those are the plays that I hadn't seen from him in the past against Florida. He did it. And so my hats, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I know the kid, he's a great kid. He's coach's kid. He's got some spark. He's got some fire. He checked a lot of boxes. And so in my opinion, for this football team today, based on what we have offensively, he's a good fit for what we need.
I'm going to do something I shouldn't do that upsets people because they think I'm on the football team or the coach. Let's look ahead. Let's say it's Marcel this week and another explosive game. Arkansas comes up, okay, and Connor's healthy. I feel like that's the only way Connor hasn't lost his job. But I think if you have 2 consecutive weeks like that, you can't take Marcel out. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how I feel.
Your team's playing downhill. They're in a rhythm. You got a guy that's provided the spark. I agree with you. It's hard. And it's not a knock against Connor at all. I mean, he's a great football player. And like Sherman told me way back in the day, hey, you got a lot of football in front of you. Even if at the current time it's difficult to see. Sure. He's going to be fine. He's got a lot of football. We've seen him play at a high level.
And he'll play at a high level here.
Yeah, and he could. He could. Now, the likelihood is that, unfortunately, it's just not how this position works. And so it's probably going to be at a school like Ole Miss, which is going to pain us to see. If Lane Kiffin gets his hands on a guy like Connor, they're going to be productive, right?
Yeah, let's tap the brakes on all that.
I know. We're not there yet. He's an Aggie, thank God.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot of football in front of him. I think both guys are handling it great. I agree with you. I think right now, as difficult as it is, you have to say, hey, like what's in the best interest of this football team? I think the skill set of Marcel Reed right now provides that explosiveness. For right now. Now, it's as any athlete, it's a show me game. Yeah. And you're only as good as your last play. And you've got to earn that every week. You got to protect the football. You got to keep your team in front of the chains, eliminate those huge negative plays. If you can continue to do that, then the added element of his legs is a game changer for this offense.
All right, we're going to hit a break here. We'll come back with a little buy, sell, lease. Right now, Brazos Running Company, they're located there at Century Square. Locally owned, Aggie operated, and I'm about to cough. Excuse me. Specialty running store with an outstanding selection of running gear, shoes, and of course the great brands like Brooks, On, and Hoka. So if you're a runner, walker, or interested in fitness, you know the right shoe makes all the difference in the world, and they're going to help you find the right shoe. You may go to other shoe stores and they, try this one. They're going to actually test out your gait, see how you run, see how you walk, and make sure that you're in the most comfortable, best shoe for you to be at the highest level. That's what they do there. They have Birkenstock, they have York, they have it all. It's the place to go to get your fitness gear on. Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square, below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Your car wash tradition with the friendliest staff and a personal touch has Aggieland's first green car wash. They recycle 100% of their water. That's Aggieland Express. They have 2 locations, William D. Fitch behind Shipley's and South College Station, and the new one there on Texas Avenue. At that new location, you can have the full service option there where their team will take care of all the cleaning and the drying for you. And for a limited time, they're inviting you to try that full service option for half price. Normally $40, they'll give it to you for $20, and we're going to give a free one away. 979-693-1150. You get that $40 value for free. The first caller, 979-693-1150, Aggieland Express Car Wash in College Station, the Texas Avenue location. All right, Stephen, a little buy-sell lease. OB, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
We're going to do a little football styles to win, okay? Smash mouth football. You've got the spread offense, and I chose air raid. So for today's college football, which one are you buying? Because
air raid meaning like Texas Tech days?
Yes, Texas Tech days, yeah.
And then the second one being?
Spread being a little bit quicker, faster, but there is a running game involved. And then there's what we saw from A&M last week, which was smash mouth. We're going to run it down your throats, and then we'll take some chances when we need to.
And can you give me an example of spread?
Spread, let's see. Maybe
what team?
Ohio State.
I'd say where we are today. Are we talking about A&M? Like, what's the best fit for A&M? Or if I'm building a national championship team? How are you answering this?
Okay, I'll tell you. I'm going to buy. Now, we're all assuming we have the personnel.
Yes,
right?
you have the personnel. Like A&M's personnel.
We have A&M's. Okay. Well,
if I have the personnel, I would always rather play smash mouth football if I have the personnel. I'll tell you another reason why. Not just because I have to. Because everybody try to do something that no one else is doing. And now everybody's worried about the spread or the air raid or whatever. That if I have the type of team that can just load up and mash Georgia, then why wouldn't I? We were watching this, and this is I hope I'm not going to embarrass David here. But David, during the 99-yard drive, well, you said this on the air. He said, "Okay, now's the time to throw it," which makes sense, because and I'm like, no, I would just keep running it until they can't stop.
And you were right. My thinking was, hey, we've softened them up. Now let's just open it. But control the clock. You have a backup quarterback. You can keep getting 5 yards per carry. You keep getting 5 yards per carry.
That was the most impressive drive I've seen in a long time. I agree with you. I'm buying, if it's A&M's team today, I'm buying the smash mouth football. Now, if I got LSU's roster with Joe Burrow, I'm spreading them out, baby.
Yeah, sure.
But
so it
it's all
depends
about
on
roster dependent. Where we are today, control the football clock, control the clock, control the football, and stay in front of the chains, eliminate negative plays. And when you can run the football, here's what the impressive thing to me is you ran the football against a defense that knew you were going to run the football, and you still ran the football.
Right.
That's an impressive combination, because there was 9 guys in the box at the end of the game. 9.
So I would buy the smash mouth if I can.
For A&M.
Whatever, if I've got like I'm Georgia, I'm going to buy the smash. I'm gonna lease the spread. I'm going to sell the air raid. Who's won the national championship with an air raid?
Yep. Well, and the thing is, air raid it's from back in the day, just like smash mouth is back in the day. Smash mouth is in vogue again, guys. We're making it cool to be able to do smash mouth.
Yeah, I thought they had that one song and that was it, but okay.
Yeah, that offense, to Obi's point earlier, is it was unique in that, I mean, it felt like you were always going to get 9-3, 10-2 with the right guys on your roster under Mike Leach. It's just different enough, but there was always that team that can come up and eat you alive on that front. Those wide splits up front, and finally they'd play, a Rakpo or Myles Garrett, and he'd just eat them alive. And like, what do we do? Can't hold on to the football. And so, to me, it was never a championship offense. And I think that's the question mark with Lane Kiffin right now too. Is his offense championship? And I wouldn't say it's air raid necessarily. I think it's more spread. But he's always got good records and good football teams. But can he get them to championship level?
I think the way you described, we got about 45 seconds. The way you described Marcel Reed was the perfect way to describe this team right now, because of some of the lack of playmakers that haven't developed just yet. Mm-hmm. He does give you the chance for this team to have that dimensional player.
Yeah, he makes up for some of the weaknesses in the team, right? And so and to me, that's still wide receivers. And I know they had a big week last week, but I would argue that a lot of that was because Marcel Reed was such a threat. Now, granted, Florida busted a ton on the back end. There's some head scratchers. And to Obi's point, it's not because they're not talented. It's because they're just not executing. They're just making dumb plays. So he allows those guys to get open, in my opinion.
So what you're saying is they need to execute better.
Have you heard that before?
All right, Jumbo. All right, thank you, OB. Steven, stick around. We got Ryan Swope next on TexAgs Live. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the show. Ryan Swope joins us. Stephen McGee, our Paragon Financial QB1, is with us. And Swope, we're going to talk, obviously, Marcel Reed here in a minute, but we got a text message there at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center to kind of start off the segment. So we go to Juan Marcos. What's the text?
So Garrett from College Station is asking, what does Marcel Reed need to do against Bowling Green to give him an actual chance of taking the starting job? Or is it even possible for him to do that in just 2 games?
Swope, that's the way to start, man. We're going right for the jugular.
Hot off the press.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, me personally, I think he's already proven himself. Now, you got to be careful how you approach it. And Connor brings a lot of value to this team. He's banged up. He's hurt. So as a coach, I think he's doing a good job handling the situation. But me personally, I'm all on board with Marcel. I think he's done enough, and I think he helps our football team win games here.
Can I just my hesitation is not about Marcel. It's actually about Connor, because I've seen Connor at an elite level, and I feel like many of us, because he hasn't won on the road, right? And Marcel has. But for me, like, people are using the Notre Dame game as the barometer of what we've seen for Connor, and I've seen much more from Connor. But then I go back to what you said in the last segment. But for this personnel, Marcel might be the guy because we don't have Devon A-Chain or whomever, right? Like we don't
have Anais, Josh
right.
Reynolds, Ryan Swope, the playmakers that we used to have that could just, if you played man coverage against these guys, they're going to eat you alive.
Now, Bussy could emerge into that guy. We could see Cyrus Allen, Jabri Barber. There's guys that could.
They could.
They just haven't yet.
They haven't. And ironically enough, last week against Florida, way less man coverage.
Yeah.
Way less. Notre Dame, they got up and they jammed us at the line of scrimmage. And so you have to do something else to create. And it'll be interesting to see how other teams play us on defense with Marcel in there is, are they going to come up and play man-to-man? Because the concern I'd have as a coordinator, if you play man-to-man, is what? They all take off and run. There's no one left in the dang box. Who's going to tackle Marcel? And so I would imagine a lot of pressure, trying to make you throw hot and play zone behind it just to see how he handles it. Now, against Florida, they did some of that, and they forced him to throw hot, and he got the ball out and made good decisions, which is exactly what you want to see. But at the end of the day, to Swope's point, the thing that you got to do as a quarterback is what? You got to win. Marcel's got an argument. He's 2-0 as a starter. That's a very, very fair point. Now, if you want my concern, big picture, not today, this football team, I think where A&M wants to go, and y'all may disagree with me on this, but when you look across the road here and you look at that stadium, to me it says, hey, we're investing in a national championship. Like, that's what our bar is here. Like, that's what they want. We're not close to that, but that's what they want. I think, for me, I would rather have one national championship in the next 10 years than I would rather have, and be 4-8 the rest of those years, and then have a team that's 8-4 or 9-3 or 10-2. Just really good football. Like Ole Miss's kind of experience. I'd rather have a football program that won one title and was below average the rest of the year. I want to win it all. In my book,
you want to win it all.
I want to win it all. That's the only reason I play the game.
No.
100% agree.
I believe that you're either first or you're last. I don't believe in second place.
I agree with that, but because I'm so emotionally invested week to week,
I get it.
That 4-8 doing this job, I would quit. All the time. And maybe that's what the people want.
I'm done.
No, but
it's like Auburn. It's like Auburn with Cam Newton. I mean, Jerry Jones would say they got their glory hole, but then it's it disappeared. They're just
I'll take Georgia before Mark Richt at A&M for a decade, and then we can reevaluate. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that.
What would you rather have?
I mean, a championship.
But
4-8 the rest of the years?
I would all day
9
long.
years of 4-8?
I would. I want the championship.
I want to win.
That's the bragging right. That's all you play for, is to win it all.
Are we going to brag about going to the Mayonnaise Bowl, or do you want to go get a ring?
I want a ring. I just don't want 4-8. I don't want 8-4. I want 10-2 for a decade.
Okay, if you go 10-2 for a decade, but you never win the championship, and you make the playoff, but you're eliminated. So let's just say you're
Oregon.
Let's just say you're 11-2 every year. Didn't win the SEC championship, didn't win the national championship, but you made it to the playoff. You're in that conversation every year.
Like Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I take Washington. I take Oregon. If the alternative is 4-8, if we're talking, a championship and 7-5, I might be able to, what I'm saying? But the 4-8, that's a disaster.
Well, let me explain where I was going with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you saying that Marcel's going to get us there, or are you saying Connor is the only answer to get us there?
No, so I think that we have to have offensive pieces. You have to have a complete football team for you to get there. I mean, football is not one just at the quarterback position. But what I did is I went back and I looked at every national championship quarterback for the last 25 years. And then I said, hey, let's look at every Super Bowl winning quarterback. And I know you're going to say, well, it's the NFL. But I would say that there's a lot of semblance between the NFL and college football as far as trends. And it's interesting if you look at. Have you ever looked at the list?
No, but you're a quarterback and sounds about right.
All right, so let me just really quickly.
Yep.
J.J. McCarthy, Stetson Bennett, Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Deshaun, Jacob Coker, Cardell Jones, Jameis Winston, A.J. McCarron twice, Cam Newton, Greg McElroy. Now highlight this: Tim Tebow, Matt Flynn, Chris Leak. Go back, Vince Young, another highlight there. Matt Leinart, Matt Mock, Craig Krenzel, Ken Dorsey, and Josh Heupel.
So a lot of good college quarterbacks, some great, but great teams around them.
Great teams around them, and to our defensive coordinators.
D coordinators.
D coordinators for 2/3 of those coaches, right? Offensive coordinators for 1/3. But if you look at the NFL, Pat Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning.
2 Westlake boys in there.
Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer. All right, now there's a lot of repeats in there too. They won multiple, so I cut those out. But even if you looked at the teams that made it to the Super Bowl that came up just short, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you're going to add people like Brock Purdy, Matt Ryan, Donovan McNabb, Matt Hasselbeck, Rex Grossman, Kerry Con. Point is to say, there's a trend here. All right, and other than I highlighted Vince Young and Tim Tebow, I would say every one of those guys on those teams were able to win the football game. If you took away their legs, they were able to get it done as a thrower. Yes. Every one of them. There was not a single one on that list that you would say, hey, you know what? If I can't run this game, we're still going to be able to produce big-time plays on offense. That's my opinion. The two exceptions on that list, Vince Young, one of the most dynamic college athletes of all time. He transformed the game. And Tim Tebow. I'm not a Tim Tebow fan, all right? He had arguably one of the most talented rosters around him, which 100%. I think is a rarity. But my point here is to say, if you're trying to build your football team to the DNA of what has been done based on probabilities, I want a guy that I know can get it done in the pocket. Now, is that the best guy today for this football team? Are we a national championship football team? I would argue no. We don't have enough complete pieces. But if the bar at Texas A&M is to win a national championship, I'm going to follow what has historically been done. That is the trend. Again, now, the exciting playmakers, the Lamar Jacksons, great. Can Marcel Reed be that guy? I love Marcel Reed. I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying my concern would be big picture.
Right.
Does he have the consistency as a passer to take us to a national championship? Because Florida's defense is not going to be the same as Georgia's, and we got to get through Georgia to win the championship.
Does Connor?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't.
Well, you're a quarterback, so that's why I was asking.
Maybe he doesn't. I know you have question marks about Connor in the passing game, and I'm not saying it's Connor either. It may not be a guy on our roster currently. I'm just saying that is what it takes.
Yeah. I mean,
so first off,
we
need to clip this. This is some of your best stuff, so thank you. That was really good. Secondly, with what's left on the schedule, guys, how many teams are that good in the SEC that A&M's going to play the rest of the way? Like, honestly, Texas,
Missouri,
but I think Missouri is a beatable top 10 team. Mm-hmm. I think they're beatable. Okay, but LSU, I have question marks about. I have a lot of questions about LSU.
I love Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Do you like that? I mean, he's putting up. Anyway, but yeah.
I guess my point is, this is still a very winnable season for A&M based on what you have on your schedule. So, can this roster win against LSU? I mean, they got to beat Bowling Green this weekend, obviously. That's not an easy task. LSU, Missouri, who else am I thinking about? Arkansas here in a couple of weeks. Like, these are all very winnable games. And what does that do for your if you're able to get to Missouri at 4-1, if you're able to do that with Marcel Reed or Connor, whatever it is, now we're having a completely different conversation for the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a new sense of optimism after watching Marcel Reed lead this football team down there. And I think it gave our entire football team a new synergy, a new vibe.
Yep.
And I just feel like that we were meshing very well. We were executing well, and not only that, but you look over and defense is tackling great, making stops, creating turnovers, and that's contagious. And so you get hot like that, you start believing, locker room starts believing, and you come together and you start, putting together some winning football, and then you gain confidence. And a young quarterback like that, with a lot of young kids around them, they start getting confidence.
Let me ask you this, though, because I 100% agree with you. Different situation, but I feel like we felt that way after Connor, South Carolina, Ole Miss as a freshman. Like, we felt that even that team was losing, though. They weren't winning.
I didn't feel it, but McGee probably did.
So hold on. I will say this. I really do. Like,
a good kid, great family. You know,
I love what I saw from Marcel. Like I totally agree. I was in the stands, 8th row. I saw the team rally around. Kid's got some fire. He's got some charisma, and he won that. He changed that football game. And it was, to me, on 2nd down and 20. You're backed up. Your offensive line has 2 penalties in a row. Put you in a terrible position, and he just takes over with his legs and converts a first down. Changes the script of the game. I mean, that could be a completely different ball game if he doesn't win it with his legs. I totally agree with Swope. I think he's earned the right to see if he can continue to be the guy for the remainder of the schedule. And with Connor's injury, I think it sets that up perfectly for the coaches to be able to continue to evaluate him. My only point is to say, after McNeese, I saw the lows, and then Florida on the road, I saw the highs. And Oklahoma State, like, I don't really know what to take from that. Like, I thought he made some incredible plays, but he also missed some throws. And in a game where you have to make every play and every throw, I would just say, hey, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But is he the best guy for this football team? I would have to argue with Swope and say, yeah. I mean, like, he did some things that forced the defense to adjust coverages that we haven't seen. Notre Dame didn't change anything when Connor was in there, right? They said, hey, we're going to line up press man and dare you to beat me with throws, and they couldn't do it. And so if you have to do something else, the dynamic of his legs does force defenses to adjust. That is an interesting.
It's hard to game plan for.
It's hard to game plan for.
Yeah.
Ryan, we haven't talked wide receivers, and there weren't a lot of passing. I mean, there was enough passing in the first half. Second half, I think 2 passes the whole. So what have you seen from the receivers? I know there was the one play where Moose didn't get going. But you had the Cyrus Allen looking good. You had the big touchdown. You've got other guys that are starting to make some plays. You're seeing wide receivers run the ball. You saw Noah get a run. You saw Terry Bussey. Just talk a little bit about that group, what you've seen.
I mean, I think they're starting to bloom. I really do. I think it's a matter of just getting comfortable with, one, a quarterback that's healthy. Connor's been battling some injuries, and so that you really don't have a whole lot of time to just build the quick chemistry overnight. That takes time. And so once we kind of going forward, once you know who the guy is and you go into practice and go over time and get just that chemistry is so important.
Yeah.
And so these receivers, I'm starting to see a little bit of separation. I'm starting to see, I think sometimes these young guys, they overthink it. And it's a matter of just them getting settled in and comfortable with the system.
Yep.
And I think game by game, it's been an improvement. Especially Notre Dame, I was a little worried about that crew, but I think Cyrus Allen, he's going to be our go-to guy. I'm seeing some good things. Also seeing separation downfield, which I think converts over to Colin called a really good game too.
Yeah, he did.
You got to give him credit, and so. And that may go back to Marcel just fitting the system better.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see a little bit more man coverage, here in the next few weeks, and kind of see what these receivers are able to do.
Guys,
that's an interesting point. Is that fitting Colin Klein's system more at K-State? They had Will Howard, who's a good quarterback that went to Ohio State, starting there, and they said, "Hey, you're not going to be the guy next year. We're going with Avery Johnson, who's more of an athletic guy."
Right.
So that may be this Marcel Reed may be the perfect fit for this Colin Klein offense.
Yeah.
So this is something I've said the last few years, and I do believe it. I don't care if it's Haynes King, Zach Calzada, whoever we've had here, Max Johnson, Connor Wigman. If you have a good offensive line, you're going to win some games. Guys, I think we're starting to have
excited about
this offensive line.
That offensive line is mashing.
I think the O-linemen must have been maybe they tuned in last week and listened to Jimmy Turner just speak, and they were ready.
Dude, that's what I was about to say, Jimmy T.
I mean,
he's about to come. He's coming.
Oh, man.
God.
I mean, these guys are.
They were mashing.
I mean, they just controlled the line of scrimmage.
They did.
They kept pushing on them, man. That line was just like this little wall. It just kept moving forward and forward.
Yep.
Yeah, let's hope that they keep that up. But I'm excited about that. That's probably one of the most exciting things about this football team is just seeing an offensive line that controls the line of scrimmage.
I agree. I loved Elko's comment about the offensive line. and how he wants them to be the front of the football team, right?
And they right now are.
And they are. And I was
Did
like,
you
man,
see
that's
that
a
dude
great line.
smashing that chair?
Our Marjorie Adams.
That. I
It looks
freaking love that,
That looks
man.
like member guest with
Yeah.
Swope, baby.
I
On
love
one
that,
tee box.
dude.
Let's go.
Let's
Give me
go.
one of those chairs and
Yeah.
let me just smash it with you, man.
And he's leading the group out, right? To me, that's yes.
That is what it's all about, man.
And when
That gets me excited.
When you're a player, because we get excited watching that. What about what does that do for players behind them in line? Like, does that get them going?
Heck yeah, it gets them going. I mean, it makes me want to go run through a brick wall and
It got me
smash my
going.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I want to go play.
that's fun. And so, younger guys that are, maybe aren't ready, they see that. That's leadership, man. And so these kids are having fun, and that's recognized by young players. And then not only that, they recognize the hype.
Yeah.
They set the bar high, and I mean, that's what it's all about.
Before I let you both go, Elko talked about he sees the team is getting better each week. Let's talk about that. Because if that continues, this is a pretty good trend.
What's your biggest concern moving forward? I'm curious if we have the same.
Probably, if anything, it'd be the back end, the secondary.
Yep.
I don't think they've really been tested yet. But I'm seeing some good stuff back there. I think our secondary. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
100%. Hey, I remember last week on the show, I was like, hey, I don't know why they're not starting DJ Lagway. This guy looks incredible. Going to the game, that cost him not saying it cost him a football game, but if Graham Mertz plays the entire football game, it's a different football game.
You think Graham Mertz wins the game for them? Or
No, wins the game.
I think
it's a tighter. I think
he puts them in a better position.
Lagway's not ready.
Yeah, he's not ready.
And granted, Mertz missed some throws. Remember the seam route on the offside penalty?
Yeah.
That was a big one. That could have really affected. It would have been a tight football game. But point is to say,
this team's getting better.
Yeah.
Week by week.
Back in though, to your point, Swope, when you could play capable quarterbacks, I'm a little bit concerned. Jackson Darts, even maybe Cook, Quinn Ewers. God, don't let it be Arch Manning, man. I can't handle that, dude.
He looked pretty good, though.
He did.
I hate saying that. But,
it is what it is, guys.
It
right?
is what it is. We're going to kick there.
Hey, in a couple of months,
go.
I'm hoping you both are going to join me for the bird dog snipe hunt. I'm hoping you go.
I can't wait. We're going to Africa on the big time snipe hunt.
Is that where we're going? He didn't
going,
tell me
baby.
that. I don't think I can do 48 hours in Africa. How long is that flight?
They're going to fly you private, man.
Okay, well, good.
We're going to be on Lucci's PJ.
Yeah. Aggie owned and operated Bird Dog. They find hunting opportunities for everybody. They're an Airbnb for hunters and streamline booking process, making it fun and easy to find your hunts and make it transparent. They'll get the landowners and they'll make it easy to find the hunters for the landowners. They provide a full-service hunting experience for corporate groups, friend groups. They handle all the logistics so you can focus on fellowship. So they're going to be doing one with TexAgs here during the second bye week. I'll have details, I think, next week, and I hope many of you will want to join us for that. Brand new hunters, seasoned hunters, you name it. Ranch consulting service for landowners, making memories for hunting indoors, outdoors, making it something for everybody. They can enhance your experience as well with helicopter hunting, live music, cooking classes, and much more. The website is birddogit.com, birddogit.com. Check it out. And we're back on TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hopefully everybody can check in on the YouTube channel or CW, or keep listening there on the CW, or excuse me, on the Zone. Got Jim Turner in studio. Coach Turner, how are you, sir?
I'm glad to be back.
So last week I don't know if I forget if I texted you this, but we had threads about how good of a segment that was. That was very good stuff. And I think the offensive line was listening to you because they did some smash mouth football last week.
Well, I don't think they need to listen to me. I think the guy that's coaching them right now is doing a heck of a job. They're doing well, and they got to keep it up.
Well, let's get into it. I don't have the list in front of me. I'll have it here in a second. But here it is. I got it right here. First play, it's a 12P SF.
That's right. So 12 personnel split flow.
Gotcha.
So the thing I'm most impressed with, right, coming out of this football game, when you look at it, right, I know everybody wants to talk about the quarterback, and I understand that. Okay, but the number one thing to me, right, like if you played quarterback in this football game, if the Aggies ran the ball, if they had 70 plays and they ran the ball 70 times, they still would have won the game.
Right.
Okay, so the quarterback did a great job, but in reality, right, this drive I'm going to show you right now, so there's only a couple of plays of it, but this drive starting on the -1, okay, was the one that broke the Gators back, okay, because we came from the -1, we went 99 yards for a touchdown, okay, it was 17 plays, 2 passes, 15 runs, okay? And in those 15 runs, you really got to give our coordinator credit because he showed a lot, okay, as far as having guts, okay, to stay with the run. You had 15 runs out of 17 plays. And the 2 pass plays were both penalties. They had a targeting and then they had a pass interference. Okay, so in general, I give him a lot of credit. Now, this is what he did. I'm going to show you 3 different schemes. Same thing I said last week, right? So you had your zone scheme, you have your gap scheme, and your man scheme. He did all of those schemes, and then I'm going to show you today, okay, this thing that I call plus plays. He brought motion from the play side to the backside every time. And so when you talk about fitting your gaps, just like we did last week, that motion coming from play side to backside, the defense has to roll the coverage, or they have to bump the coverage in zone, or they're going to run with them if it's man, okay? So there's a lot going on defense. And then you split flow at the same time with the tight end coming backside. If you do all those things, and he did that in every scheme, he did that. So very difficult thing for a defense to defend.
All right.
All right, so your first play is right here, right? So if you look, this is coming out again. So we're going to take this ball all the way down the field. To me, right, there's always a point in every football game, right, when the game is won, okay? So this is late in the second quarter. It's 7 minutes and 30 seconds left, right? So they're going to use up almost all the clock. They're going to take it down to a minute with this drive. Okay, we're going to go all the way down the field and score. Okay, so this play is a zone blocking play. This is a plus play, so he's going to bring that receiver here, okay, and he's going to show some type of speed sweep out here at the same time. They have to cover this player with these players, or with the linebacker popping out of the box. The great thing about it is when you bring a player like him in motion in here, okay, if they play zone and they bump the box, you're bringing a smaller player into the well, because a lot of times it'll be the nickel. Not this case right here, but a lot of times it will be the nickel entering the well. When the nickel enters the well, he's usually 190 to 210 pounds. So you have these guys blocking a little guy, and you love that. Or they can roll coverage, or they can play man. If they play man, he'll just run across. Go ahead and let that run for me. This was a big play getting the ball out. This is the second play of the drive right here. So I'm going to show you, right, so one of the reasons, right, that they had a lot of success. The line did a great job. Okay, they did a great job. Okay, now go to the end zone for me, and the backs are running hard. Okay, is there an end zone clip on the back of this?
Not on this one.
Okay, so watch. Now go back for me one more time, and I'm going to show you this now. So when you look at this play, right, so they're playing a 3-down front. So 3-down/5 down, right? So in the guard-to-guard box right now, right, you have 3 players, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the center, right, this is an open-ended play because we're going to split flow. So the right tackle is the open end. So they're going to push, right? So the left guard is going to push with the center. The nose tackle stays on this side of the center, and the backside linebacker is going to play the play side A gap. They're going to stunt right here, okay? They're going to stunt right here, okay? He's going to stay in the B gap, okay? And then this player right here, okay? I'm sorry, he's going to stay in this gap. He's going to go inside in the B gap, okay? Let it roll. When these linebackers come downhill, they have to blow linemen up. See him run around the block. They're running around the block, and then we split flow. Go back one more time. He's running around the block. Now watch the split flow. He's supposed to block that play, but he never makes it there. And if he never makes it there, he's on a track. So if anything's in his way, okay, he's going to block whatever's in his way. Great play to get us off the goal line. Go to the next one for me. That's a zone blocking play. Okay, now stop for 1 second now. Hold that. Let me just show you, okay, what the running backs are doing. If you have a zone blocking play, right, this is what a running back looks for. He's going to take 3 steps on any zone blocking play. So if this is the defender, I'm the offensive tackle right now. If you run outside zone right now, okay, that player right there, it's a 3-step operation. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And on his third step, 1, 2, 3, he's looking right at that player. And if his hat is on the outside on his third step, okay, you're telling Ruben right now, as he approaches, he's trying to get this look right here. So he wants it to look like that. And if you're the running back and it looks like this, you're going to take the ball outside. When Ruben takes his third step, if he gets him reached, he says, okay, I know what the running back sees right now. I have to keep him reached. If I can't get him reached on my third step, I'm going to snap him out. And now the running back's going to see that. And when the running back sees that, he's going to take the ball up inside. In this instance, he didn't have to do that. Ruben ended up getting him reached. We ended up getting him reached. Okay, and then the ball is out. So this is a zone block and play to the right. You can see right here, great job by the right tackle. Go back one more time for me. Backs are running hard, so stop it real quick. Okay, so this is a 3-down front right now. So the center would come up and he would call Rhonda right now to those two players. Okay, that makes this an A block to him and a C block through to him. Okay, so getting to him is hard. Why is it hard to get to him? Why? Because if the ball goes outside, okay, he's going to beat you outside. But why doesn't he run outside right now? Because the linebacker coach ties a rope, tells him, listen, tie a rope straight down the field like that. And you never go in that direction until the guy with the ball hits that rope. So like right now, he's going to play down here. This is a great scheme by the coordinator or the line coach. They put him in the minus. If you put him right there, right, he's going to hit that rope on his third step pretty quick. He's going to be out of there. It makes that block that much more difficult. But because he's in the minus, if they can get it done, and they get it done right here. Go ahead, the motion ends up coming. You can see this motion and what it does. When he hits the edge, bring it back one more time. When the back hits the edge, look what's happening to the secondary right now. Okay, watch that player. With that motion, they got to roll, They're rolling coverage right here. And now when we get the edge, the ball's out right here. This is obviously great scouting by the OC and the line coach. Okay, there it is, last one. And we end up getting it done. The right guard does a decent job. That's a quick reach. Okay, so you have to say this to yourself too. Okay, when you're a lineman, freeze that for a second. When you're a lineman, if I'm all by myself on a block, okay, and I'm him, I have to stay square. I could never cross over with my backside foot. When can you cross over with your backside foot? If I have help inside. That's when they'll cross over. They can truly run. But he's one-on-one with the 3 technique right here, the D tackle. So now he's in a quick reach. He's got to stay square to make that block happen. I know he almost got beat right here, but he did enough to get it done. Go ahead. All right, so now we're going to the next play. These are all in the same drive, as you can see. Right? They're not in consecutive order, but they're all in the same drive. Running backs are running hard. Okay, so watch this one. This is a man fold. Again, the coordinator's doing this. He's bringing this motion. It looks like speed sweep. He can hand him the ball. There's a threat to run the football with a fast player out the back door. Okay? And, of course, that threat, the defense has to adjust to it. Okay, let it run, please. There he goes, right? So they're in a run stunt right here. So if you watch the run stunt, if you can freeze this in the end zone, that will help me. And if you can't, it's all right. I'll show it to them from this picture. Okay, so you don't have that. Watch now. Go back for me. Okay, so let's just look at, here's a 3-down front. There's 3 down, 1, 2, 3. So the center would come up right now, right? And he's going to call odd right here, which means we're going to go right to those 2 backers. We're going to pull that guard, and they're both going to those 2 backers. Well, they're going to stunt this front side backer in a run stunt. They're going to put him out the front door. So watch, let it run for me. Great job by both guards. So there they go, right? So watch the backside guard. He feels the linebacker come over the top. He comes back. And then the play side guard ends up getting out on the front side backer. Go ahead one more time. This is your man fold. Watch 5-5 right here. So they jump outside of Ruben. 5-5 goes inside back to the follow. So on all these man blocking plays, just like I said a second ago, right, on the zone blocking plays, right, the back's going to see, is this the look I got on my third step? I'm going here. If not, if I have that look, I'm going in here. On these plays, right, all he's doing is this. On the man fold plays. Okay, whenever you see a front side person pulling on a play, all he's doing is this. He's just picking up the inside cheek right here of the second puller, and he's going to follow the second puller. And you can see him right here. He picks up this. The 4-eye right here, right, on Ruben jumps outside. There's nothing Ruben could do about that. You got to just get your hat on him and drive him where he wants to go. And watch the guard come back up inside. He's trying to get around him. He's like, I can't do that. I'm going to go north. He goes north, and that's the key block right there, him and Ruben. Great job by the tight ends, okay? The Aggies have a great chance of running the ball this season, I'll tell you that. They're running it well right now, but for the whole season, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they got that player, and that player, okay? And those guys are all their tight ends are blocking very well. This is 4th and 1, okay? So this is a character time for them. All right, so watch. Now you're going to go. So I just showed you a zone blocking play. I showed you a man blocking play. So the third scheme, here's your gap play right here, okay? Now watch. On a gap play, it's this simple. Okay, I just showed you, right? So for the running back, on zone, he's reading that block. Okay, on a man fold, he's picking up the second puller. On a gap blocking play, he goes just like this. He's here. If it's going to the right, he's looking for green grass. In the A gap, no green grass. I go to the B gap, no green grass. I bounce it outside. It's that easy. This is 4th and 1, okay? This is 4th and 1, all right? Which means he's not bouncing anything outside on this. He's going to go straight downhill. Excellent run by the back. Extremely well blocked up front. I call this 13 heavy personnel, right? So you got heavy personnel, tight end, and there's your heavy player right there, okay? So 7-5 is your heavy player. Okay, let that run for me. Everybody's blocking gap down. Okay, there's your gap down right there. Great job by the puller. Okay, so you're going to see 44 come off this. But again, this is just pure power inside, right? So, oh, this is great. Stop. So there you go, right? So this is a 5 down front. They're playing a 4. It's in between a 3 and a 5 down, right? So there's your inside player. There's your inside player. There's your inside player. Now watch. On this, right? So he's playing right here. He's playing the tight end position. So the center right now, okay, the center right now we call odd. And that means we're going back. So back means this. Me and you are going back to him. I'm here. I'm in a B gap. Okay, and I'm looking at any run through, but I got help inside right here from him. And then they're going to trade all the way back to that linebacker. He's not going to make it because it's 4th and 1. Okay, so you say on a gap blocking play, where are you vulnerable? You're going to pull that player. He's going to go, you're vulnerable in here because if he runs through, he will kill the play. And one of the things defensive coaches do is, that's one of the things that they do. They're going to try and, when he pulls, try and run through sometimes. That's their run stunt. Put him over the top. Well, watch what happens when he tries to run through, because for Ruben right now, it's B gap, and if that player comes, I got to get my hands on him and I got to block him, and he does that. Great job on the tray. He's got to stay on that player. He's blocking that player, okay? And then we're pulling for the front side linebacker. So tray all the way back, pull for the front side backer, I'm blocking on. Go ahead, let it run. And if you're the back, right, get the ball downhill. All right, so one of my favorite things to look at that run by the back. Great body lean. Right? Great aggression right there. Go ahead back one more time. So one of the things I love to say to the backs is this. Run mean. My son's a running back, right? So I tell him, listen, Mike, you can never be wrong if you run mean. Go downhill, get the first down. The theme inside your head if you're a running back at all times is get the first down. Get the play call of 4 more downs. Great job by the line. I really think the key block here, okay, is the left guard going down on the nose.
Coach Turner, we got to hit a break here. Let's do the other plays on the other side. We'll do it on the next side, okay? Sound good. Right now, we're talking Heritage Films, Chance McClain's company. They make documentary films about families, family businesses, family ranches. I'd love to see Coach Turner's Heritage film. It'd be cool to see how he got into coaching and that entire story, and your family has a story as well. Let Chance and his team tell it, 2-hour documentary style. He is the absolute best at doing stories. You can call him up at 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or go to yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. Let's keep it going with Jim Turner here on TexAgs Live. We'll go back to the cool zone. Coach Turner, you got a couple Bowling Green plays for us.
So let's move on to Bowling Green. So let's just take a look at this right here, right? So I have 2 clips for you. Okay, this defensive coordinator is a good coach, right? And one of the things, okay, obviously you're playing Bowling Green. Go back for me. I want to show you one of the things that he does right here. Very creative. That's great. Thank you. Right there. So this is a 5 down front, right? So anytime you're throwing the football up front, okay, this is a 6-man protection right now. They're throwing the ball up front. Okay, so every time that happens, the line is going to be responsible for 5 guys, just like I said. If the center says 4 down, right, they're going to have 4 down and whatever backer they're working to. If he says 3 down, they're going to go 3, and then they're going to go to 2 backers, right, of course. And then if he says 5 down, jam, 5 down. That's because the guard's covered, the center's covered, and the other guard's covered. So the center should see that as 5 down. He's going to go 5 on 5. Now, I want to show you how creative they are right here. Really great stunt, okay, by Bowling Green. So they're going to rush these 5 right now. It looks like they're going to rush these 5. Okay, that's the defensive end right there. This is a linebacker right here. Okay, so if I'm playing running back right now, the line's going to block those 5, and the running back has that player or that player. So watch what they do. Go ahead, let it roll right here, and then freeze it right there. Okay, great. So if you're the running back right now, that's your man, the way you see the world. Okay, if you're the right tackle right now, your man just dropped. Okay? When your man drops, right, whatever direction he drops in, that's what you look at. You look in that direction. So you say, it sounds like this: drop out, look out. So he's going to dumb into that player. When I say dumb into it, I mean that guy goes, he's going to block somebody. You want him to block that player coming off the edge because he's on the ball right now. You don't want massive collisions in the backfield between the back, okay, and the guy he's blocking. Because if you're playing quarterback, just think about it. A massive collision right here, okay, that can influence my throw. You want all the collisions up close to the line of scrimmage, if possible. Okay, now, he ends up getting out to it, which means now if you're the running back, once you see him get out to it, now you're going to come back and block that player. They're not able to get that done. Let that go for me. And he ends up breaking free. Now, Penn State ends up getting it out, and they end up running the play well. Okay, but that's one of the things. That's what that defensive coordinator stopped. That's what he's trying to. He's dropping into coverage, right? And now, if this tackle right now gets confused for a second, whatever, okay, we should be out to him. And then, of course, our running back should end up back inside. He's got to react to it. If you're the running back, okay, you can react because you have time. So when he sees that player get blocked, he's got to come back inside and block the linebacker. And obviously, right, the Aggies are over there working on this right now. So they'll be ready for it. Go to the next one for me. So I gave you a pass down. Okay, so here's a rundown for you, right? So again, okay, they're going to run counter right now, gap block and play. They're going to double down, okay, to the backside backer. Remember, every time you run a power play or a counter play, you're leaving 2. We're leaving that one and that one, okay? If you're Penn State, we run the same exact play, of course. They're going to double down to the backside backer. He's going to block back, okay? And then the backside tackle is going to gap and hinge back on the defensive end. If you're the defensive coordinator right now, this is disheartening. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, and you have 8 players in the box, okay? And you should be able to stop the run right now. So the way he sees the world, I put all those players in the box. I should be able to stop the run. He's going to take it on with his inside shoulder. Just go ahead and let it run for a second. And I'll show you now, because when people say stop right there, okay, so watch. If you're the defensive end, right, he's taking the block on with his inside shoulder, right? So when you see this coming, I'll do it exactly as they're doing it. Okay, here comes the tackle. Okay, so now he's boxing it back inside. So everything's happening in there. He's boxing it back inside. So now you want the tacklers to stay inside. If he wrong shouldered him, now you would want the tacklers to go outside and bounce the ball outside. So he's forcing the ball back inside right now to the tacklers. Both linebackers, go back one more time here. Go back to the beginning. Okay, so watch now. Both linebackers, right? As soon as he pulls, they're both taught he's going to box. Okay, they're both taught to get over the top right in these 2 gaps and be the tacklers inside. He's really another gap stopper, and then he'll end up being the tackler right here. Now, here's the key to the play. This double team by Penn State right now, they're doubling back to that player. But when you're on a double team, you just don't come right off. You blast the double team, and then both of you go to linebacker color. Go ahead, let it run. So here they go, right? So there's the double. Okay, now stop right there. Excellent, thank you. Okay, so the first backer's right. Look at where his hat is right there, forcing the ball back inside. He's got to get over the top right here. Okay, what ends up happening is look at the double team. Okay, they end up pushing toward him, and now there's a backside seam in the backside A gap. That's that guy's job right there. Let it go. Okay, stop. So why he's standing there looking at everything, I don't know. And I'm sure his coach is asking himself the same thing. And when he breaks through, go back one more time. Okay, so that's his deal. That's his whole. Once they pull, I'm the backside cutback player. They get over the top, I'm the cutback player right here. You got to get in that hole and make that tackle. Okay, so Penn State's a good football team. They do a good job. Okay, the Aggies are a better football team.
I like the way you think, sir. Thank you very much for your time, Coach Turner. Next week again?
You got it. I love it.
2 segments with Coach Turner next week as well. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with AT. It's TexAgs Live. Fantastic. Welcome back into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is time for Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. We go straight to the Boss Firearms Hotline. That's where we find AT Aaron Torres. Mr. Torres, this can be a short one, man. I apologize. We had Coach Jim Turner in studio, and he just had awesome stuff going on, man. So I apologize for the delay.
All good. I'll have to go back and check it out, see what I missed. But I know he's great at what he does. I think I'm great at what I do too. But no worries at all. And listen, just happy to talk to you after a big road win. I don't think we've ever done this before, David. I don't remember when you started. I don't know if we've ever talked after a big road win. I'll be honest.
We did talk about it. Well, I don't know about a big road win, but we did talk after a couple of road wins. In fact, I can tell you, Colorado, September 10th, 2021. Also, Missouri, October the 16th, 2021.
I do remember that Colorado game. It was like 16-10 in the least surprising news ever. I hate to say it in a sarcastic way, but I remember an A&M quarterback getting hurt. I don't know if that was the Haynes King game, and I shouldn't be a jerk like that, but I do remember somebody getting hurt. I remember that was like your second game on the beat.
That's right.
And it's been a while, so I'm happy that you got to see one.
So what did you think about the smash mouth football you saw from A&M against Florida?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the part that's a bummer as a kind of national guy is, you want to celebrate Texas A&M, but unfortunately the immediate default is we know what's going on at Florida, and you're almost like you just want to talk about Florida and what does it mean and the future of the coach and this and that. But I think part of the reason that we felt the need to immediately default to Billy Napier is because of just how dominant a win it was. And I know there was a little break in between, but there was never a moment from about the first drive on where you didn't feel like A&M was in complete control. Like you said, control the lines of scrimmage. And again, I think part of that is an indictment on where Florida is in year 3 under Billy Napier, but I think it should also be a testament to where Texas A&M is in 3 games into the Mike Elko era. I mean, you lose to Notre Dame, but it wasn't because of a lack of physicality or toughness. And then you just go on the road, bully Florida. And I'll be quick on this one because I know I'm already going long on the first answer, but I'll say this, a little brag, but had Tim Tebow on my podcast today, and we talked a little bit about that game, and he said, listen, as a Florida guy, the most frustrating thing is that we're getting pushed around by everybody. So I just bring that up to say that is a testament to what Mike Elko has been able to do 3 games into this era is how physical the team already is.
Tell me you like Marcel Reed out there. I'm still a Connor guy, but I mean, Marcel Reed gives you a little bit of hope in a different dimension. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I was blown away by the talent and obviously the athleticism and the playmaking ability. I'm not smart enough to know, what's going to happen or what I think should happen or whatever. I trust the coaching staff that works with those guys every single day. But he definitely gave you a spark when you needed one. And so obviously, as you start to get into the meat of SEC play, next week in Dallas, all that good stuff, obviously there's some tough decisions to make. But, not really knowing a ton about Marcel Reed, I just thought he was really, really, really impressive. And like I said, I think gave you just a total different dimension than really, any quarterback at A&M in a while. I know Haynes King had wheels, but he wasn't very accurate at the time. So Marcel was very impressive to me. Enjoyed watching him and, curious as to what the decision is that's going to be made going forward. Talking to Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Live. What did you think of Dion and Shador and everything that happened at the end of that game against Colorado State? Like my feelings get hurt sometimes too, and I don't want to talk to the opposing team, so I'm not going to make too much of a deal of it. But I feel like every week there's another media hates us. Well, some, and it's everybody against us. But I feel like they bring so much upon themselves.
Yeah, it's tough because they probably use a lot of that stuff for motivation. That's okay. But it's like, there's an old saying, right? Like win with class, lose with class. And it's fine, be who you are. I don't really care personally. But it's like even as somebody who's been largely a Dion supporter, you can never just I'm not that I would personally celebrate, but you can never just celebrate a win without kind of feeling, for lack of a better term, like icky about it. Like it's just, that was, I thought that, I was on air during that game. I thought that was the best performance of the Dion era. They ran the football. The defense was good. You could talk about how good the opponent is or isn't, but that was a complete domination in every phase. And like I said, you just want to say, wow, maybe they turned a corner. Maybe we overreacted. Maybe Nebraska is just better than we thought. And then 30 seconds later, you're fighting, they're fighting with, the media again. It's just exhausting. I'll be curious if they can build some momentum off of that. I don't think Baylor is very good this weekend. But like you said, just one of those deals where you just want to be able to appreciate a win without all the other noise that comes with it.
Full segment next week, Aaron. Appreciate your time, buddy.
No problem, brother. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Appreciate Aaron Torres there. All right, if you're looking for a great spot to go eat, Varsity Grill House is the place. It's like a cool sports bar / fine dine. It's a little bit of everything. Like you take your wife there, take your kids there, take your buddies there, watch games, enjoy the great food there on Highway 6 in College Station, by the way. Aggie owned and operated, by the way, right next to the Academy. Step into that vibrant atmosphere, savory 4 Farm steaks. They got a dozen signature cocktails. Get the awesome desserts that they have. And don't forget, that's your go-to destination for hosting unforgettable gatherings. Swing by the Varsity Grill House today and taste the difference. It is Varsity Grill House, your home for good times and great food. Hopefully we will see you there. Next up, The Fan Show. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. They have a great selection of commercial vehicles with service body trucks, flatbed trucks, several medium-duty trucks for those heavier jobs. And you know about the customer service when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You're going to get yourself complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers. Free oil changes for life on the purchase of your vehicle as long as you own that Caldwell Country vehicle. They are a proud supporter of Aggie Athletics. They go to all the games. They support all the Aggie events. They're fantastic. They have a strong and committed sales staff with many years of experience, satisfying customer needs. They have a huge inventory of selection to fit most of your needs. All right, so about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. PrizePicks.com. More spots. It's time for the Fan Show.
Fan Show.
Brought to you by Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. Is guaranteed. And in September, Caleb Williams passing yards gets you 1 win every weekend in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you the wins. What you need to do is go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and use the code TexAgs to receive the $50 guaranteed once you play $5 in lineups. Friends, hello.
Good morning. Hey, good morning. How are you, David?
Sutton Turner, welcome back.
Can confirm you do not need to win to get the 50. I can confirm that you do not.
You did not win a lot this past weekend. But you get the 50.
I did, yes.
You get the 50. Gentlemen, thank you. I'm going to start off with Sutton because he hasn't been on the show in forever.
Mm-hmm.
What is on your mind this morning?
So went to the Florida game.
Oh.
And I would, from experience and fans, like host fans, welcoming us, I would put them underneath Clemson, and that's with a P, Clemson.
Okay.
So Clemson's first, but then it's Auburn tied with Florida. I mean, they were amazing. People, they have like a North Gate just right across from where the football stadium is on University. Walking around, people welcome. So glad you guys are here. I mean, they were amazing fans. And then what was interesting is I had a single ticket, so I was surrounded by Gator fans, and they were talking to me about firing Billy. I mean, it was like, when do you think we're going to fire him? Do you think we're going to fire him after this game? And then, of course, all of them left after the 99-yard drive. I mean, that was just a backbreaker. They were like, the rest of them stayed a little while to boo Billy, but besides that, it was amazing. Great experience.
Good. Yeah, it's good to see the experience of win on the road, too, for
it's amazing.
been so long.
It's been.
Roy, what is on your mind, buddy?
Well, all is right in the world, right? All is right in the world. We went on the road. We got rid of the streak. We beat, while you can call it a down Florida team, it's still a Florida roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the bigger things that people need to understand. And I get that they're in a bad way. Like, we've been in a bad way before. Like, I've seen other teams. Like, we all get it, right? But, like, we went on the road in what was, at least for the first quarter or so, a hostile environment with a game-time decision, new quarterback in his first true start on the road. And we went out there and we literally just took care of business. And the game was never in doubt. And now you have, this was like the small domino, right? Like, push the small domino and it'll, it's the domino effect, correct? Now we have Bowling Green. Great. Man, going on the road against Florida, you didn't know how it was going to work out, so you got Bowling Green on the bounce, but we went and beat Florida. All right, you got Bowling Green, and then you've got an Arkansas team that I'm not sure that anybody truly knows exactly what's going on with Arkansas. I don't think they're good. I think we're better than Arkansas. So again, this is where we talked about this. Elko teams improving week over week over week, right? Well, we just went on the road, 33-20 and missed 2 field goals. So, could have been close to 40.
Well, and we throw no passes in the second half.
Right.
I mean, we shut it down.
And that, I'll get into that because I don't care for that part of it. But building, we've seen improvement week over week. And so if this is what we're going to see, man, you've got to be excited about this. Right?
Yeah.
Matt?
Please?
Good morning, guys.
Yes.
So I, too, went to the football game and had a wonderful experience. We went and I didn't go to the Northgate part of the bars and stuff. We got dropped off on the other side of the stadium. But either way, got in. It was wonderful. There was first of all, I got to give her a shout out. There was a lady that, and I did not get your name, ma'am. I know she has to be listening because I was walking in and she goes, I know your voice. Are you on TexAgs? And I said, yeah, I do the fan show. She goes, that's right. So I told her, I said, if we win, I'd give her a shout out. So, ma'am, I don't know. I didn't get your name,
but lady,
but she's a fervent listener to your show.
Okay,
so she's a fan of David Nuño and the TexAgs.
Oh,
all right. Well, I got one now.
So if she recognized this horrible voice, then
she's tuned in.
But no, that was a bucket list trip. I will say there's some things that you come to appreciate about our game day experience when you're at another place. Our stadium is Look, the Swamp is cool. It's iconic. It's tiny.
not Kyle Field.
It's tiny. I mean, I had a guy behind me whose knee was in my back the entire time, and the old man in front of me had my knee in his back. There was no room, and we were in a really good section. We actually had really good seats, and the concourses down below are real tight and cramped and old and dank, and so I think we get a little spoiled with that beautiful Taj Mahal we have across the street, but. The fan experience was great. It was really cool. They were really loud in that first quarter. I mean, really, really loud. Not as loud as Kyle, but probably the loudest stadium I've heard outside of Kyle.
Okay. Without cowbells.
Without the cowbells. I've not been to Mississippi State yet, but it was. They were loud, and then there's nothing like clearing them out. This is the first one I've gone to, SEC road trip I've gone to, where we actually won the game. So. It was fun watching everybody clear out of there. They did the Tom Petty thing.
That was cool.
And it was super cool. But the guy behind me goes, man, you should see it when the place is still full. I mean, It was empty. Yeah, it was empty at that point. And but we got up and sang along. And so wonderful trip. If we go back to the Swamp, I recommend everybody get a chance to go there. That was a really, really fun time. And it was really fun watching your team finally win. I did tell a guy, we haven't won a road game in like 4 years. He goes, what? Then he just sank into his hands like this, and it devastated him. It made it even worse. So
3 years, by the way.
Yeah, 3 years, whatever. But it made him feel worse, which was cool. But to go out and watch something that we talked about all offseason, what was going to be the key? What was going to be the key? Was that O-line, and then Coach Turner being here talking about it. How good have they been? I mean, that's really been like the bright spot of everything. They played really well to run the ball the way we did. And really, to be honest, that the score doesn't really match what we saw out there. That was a beatdown. They got 2 garbage time touchdowns, and we let up off the gas. And I know that's what Roy's probably going to talk about in a minute, but we let up off the gas, and we could have made that a lot worse. We really could have.
So before we get to that,
so we won despite of Browning's attendance.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, I've been to a lot of losses on the road.
But I'm not the only one. But you've been to some wins too, though. He was on an 0 for streak.
Well, this is true.
I'm back though. I'm back.
So. This is the fan show, so I'm going to make a fan comment here.
Let's do this.
Earlier in the week, I said on the show, I think that A&M has graduated to a point that they're going to win the games they're supposed to win. Okay? And I look at this schedule, and there's a lot of wins that I think they're supposed to have.
Right.
Doesn't guarantee anything, but I think that we're at a point. I got some backlash from people. You got to think about one game at a time, Bowling Green. No, I don't. I think A&M is at a point with the coach that they have and the roster that they have and the smash-mouth football that teams like Bowling Green, they could scare you. You should beat them. Teams like Arkansas, they can scare you. You should beat them. And that's all I meant by it. I want everybody to get their thoughts.
And going to Auburn now does not look nearly as scary as it did before the season started. So 100%.
And LSU coming here doesn't look scary. And to echo what Roy said, that they needed that win. This is regardless, I know that was not a good Florida team, but our teams in the past would have lost that football game.
Yep. Totally.
I mean, we would have somehow figured out a way, under the Jimbo regime, we would have figured out a way to lose that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a team that's still got tons of talent. They're at home in what was a hostile environment for the first, 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And then tons of talent with their backs against the wall, knowing that this is a massive, massive game for them. And we went out there and dominated them. So
I will say
that is huge.
I agree with you with one caveat. We win the games that we should win for the rest of the year if we clean up our penalties issue. To me, that's the one thing when we're walking out of that game, then I'm like, I don't think it was like 13 penalties, but some of them were just massive. Take points off the board. I mean, those types of things, and especially right at the very beginning of the game, we have 2 back-to-back false starts. And put us in that, obviously that 2nd and 21 or 3rd and 21 where Reed goes for 31 that changed the early beginning and took the air out of that stance. But to me, we've got to clean up our penalties. And then what you said will be 100% true all the way to the Texas game.
I disagree on the penalties thing. We need to clean it up to an extent, right? Last weekend, I don't think I've seen a collective of egregious officiating across college football as I have seen. Last week was disgusting. And I'm not talking our game. I'm talking
across the board.
All of it. It was pitiful. So, yeah, we need to clean some stuff up. But some of this stuff doesn't need to be cleaned up. The officials need to be cleaned up. And again, we won the game. I'm not blaming anything on the officials. Like, we would have won if this or this. Like, Florida wouldn't have won based off a couple of calls. The targeting penalty on the Florida guy.
Yeah, he hit him in the butt.
That's one of the most ridiculous calls. The call on Nussmeier in the LSU game where he shoved him in the shoulder with his arms extended. Right. And then you just tack on the freaking Astros game, by the way, the other night.
So the Dalton Brooks thing, what happened there? From where we sat in the stadium, it did not look like he hit him in the head at all.
No, it was targeting.
That one was legit.
Put his head down.
That one, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, look.
We couldn't see it.
They didn't get them all wrong. Don't get me wrong. Well, and that's the benefit of being at home and watching on TV.
We could disagree on the rule itself, but like that play.
But within the rules,
yeah.
Okay. But that's where the one on the Florida defender. But him being ejected didn't lose the game for them. It's just the officiating across the board. But we've seen it for a couple of weeks. Like, we need to clean up some penalties. But my biggest takeaway as far as a negative is concerned, and I'm not trying to be negative, I'm generally the sunshine pumper, but it's just letting off the gas. Like, quit letting off the gas. Like, we should have covered, right, 2 weeks ago against McNeese. And we just kind of let off the gas. And I get that you're getting people in and getting some reps, but Florida, all of a sudden it's 33-20, right? What happens if there's a couple of completions there in the third and fourth quarter that don't happen for Florida? What if Lagway gets, what if these and all of a sudden you're in a dogfight on the road when you never should have been? So that is probably the only complaint that I have about it is just.
But if you hit your field goals, that doesn't matter.
But we didn't. So yeah. See, well, that's the catch though. We didn't though, right? And so take away the Bryce Anderson pick six, and then you look at the offensively what we scored, right? And so. Again, this is nitpicking because we won 33-20 on the road. And a road win in the SEC against a team like Florida with that roster, I'm never going to complain about. But if we're looking for things to complain about, because I've seen it in multiple games, it's the second half just backing off the gas and coasting down the hill. McNeese never should have scored.
So let me ask you a question. Did you guys think that, because I've heard it so many times this week, that we were comfortable and we were comfortably in control of the game? I'm sorry. When Mertz hits the guy down the sideline, the first drive after the second half. And yes, we came right back with Cyrus Allen, 73 yards.
That was awesome.
But when they scored, I was really concerned. I was like, crud. Now the crowd's back into it.
Yeah.
Now the crowd's back into it. The crowd that's still there is back into it. And, and they could have easily come back into that game.
Well, we'd seen it for 1,000+ days.
Totally.
But I think my thing about it is I expect SEC teams to make it interesting. I kind of expect it because we are not Georgia right now. We are not Texas.
No.
So I wasn't surprised by that. What I actually was more surprised by was the counter, right? Yeah. They countered immediately. And then they countered again with the pick six.
Great to see.
So, yes, while I would have loved to have won 50-10, backup quarterback making his first ever start on the road in the SEC, right? With a team that is still trying to figure out their identity, and I think we found it. I wish they would have won by 19. I wish they would have won by 24+. I'll take the 13-point win and still wish that we would have smashed their throats a little bit more in the second half.
To me, it's just when you have your foot on their neck, keep it there. Like, that's my thought. And I understand, you're not going to be airing the ball out when you're up by 20 and late in the fourth quarter, but, you said it. You didn't really throw a pass in the second half. You still got to stay within a certain level of play calling because any SEC team can beat you at any point.
Getting back to if you hit those field goals, I don't know if we're having this conversation.
Right, but that's my thing. Since we didn't, right? Because 40-49 is like the death trap.
But each one of those field goals, if you look at the previous plays leading up to the field goals, we were in striking distance and we never went for the end zone, which to me would have been a kill shot on both those two drives. And we didn't go for the kill shot and the 7 points. And so that, I agree with you. When you're in position, and even if they pick us off, they're picking us off on the 15 or the 20, our defense is going to hold them. We're in good shape. Take a couple of strikes. I mean, both those two field goals were 40-yard field goals. Okay, so you're in there. You're not in the red zone, but you're close enough to go for the end zone and try to kill them.
I just like the fact that we're going to be able to go back and watch this game film and say we need to clean up some penalties, we need to do this, we need to do that. because we're improving week by week. So I'm really impressed with everybody. I love everybody. Good job, guys.
Fan show.
Matt Browning's still on a high for days.
Good job, Coach Elko. You did great.
See, I think there's a couple things happening here. Because we're starved for greatness, we like to pick at things.
It's easy to.
And I understand. We kicked their ass.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At the
I'm
end
excited.
Of the day, you may not like the score.
Fantastic.
We annihilated them on the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
They were an inferior opponent to us, and they're a big-time SEC school that, yes, is falling. I get it. But in the past, we lose that game. We kicked their absolute ASS.
Right.
Yes.
And they have excellent talent. It's not like McNeese. They have excellent players that I hope some of those guys come here next year when they have a new coach and they want to be on a winner.
This is all predicated on nitpicking. But again, like, trust me when I tell you I'm thrilled with Saturday's results.
But I guess what I'm saying is, and I'm not mad at anybody, I'm just saying, like, let's spend more time on the happy part than the sad part. But I understand the unsatisfied part. I understand the unsatisfied part because what if it is a bigger opponent?
Right.
What if they did make the play, but they didn't, and they won by double digits on the road?
And this confidence going into a game like Arkansas where we win, but we waver sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah, I get it.
You're going in and you're playing a team that has probably less talent than Florida does.
I agree.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. All right. If I would have told you on the fan show last week, hey, Connor's not going, okay, and they're going to win by 13 on the road at Florida.
We won by 2 scores on the road in the SEC. That's it. If you can't take that away, again, like, I'm just picking because I got to find something, right?
Right. I get it. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back. We really haven't spent time on Marcel Reed. Can we do some Marcel Reed? Can we do some line of scrimmage? We had Jim Turner, so he actually did the line of scrimmage talk, but we'll do a little bit of this as well. It's game week. If you're headed to the game on Saturday, I know many of you are, check out the Association of Former Students because they want to invite you to join them at the All Aggie Hullabaloo. Make the Clayton W. Williams Jr. Alumni Center your game day headquarters this weekend for free drinks, courtesy of Yiling. You've got the City Orchard Cider and free Slovacek sausage. You can also do some pregame shopping at the vendor marketplace, CC Creations, the Charge Apparel. You have Stately Apparel. You also have South of Kyle, Kona Ice. There's also going to be a fun zone with games and prizes for kids. Plus, if you have questions about your Aggie ring or need to have it resized, the Aggie Ring office will be open throughout the event. The All Aggie Hullabaloo starts at 3:30 p.m. this week. Admission is absolutely free. Register at tx.ag/AAH3. That is tx.ag/AAH3. It's the Association of Former Students. Here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, The Fan Show, brought to you by Prize Picks. Guys, let's talk about Smash Mouth football. All right. So we knew Coach Moffitt was going to make this team stronger, more fit, mentally fit, physically fit. I think we're seeing it on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and especially in an area that has been lacking. Brandon, start us off.
You're not going to die today.
No, we're not.
Apparently, that's his thing. He goes. So if you watched the Pulse last week,
I didn't watch it yet.
So they had a whole thing on Coach Moffitt, and he always tells him, "You're not going to die today." So he's like working them so hard.
Oh, good.
I guess they think they're going to die, and he keeps reminding them, "No, you're not going to die today.
You'll be fine."
So they, you can tell they bought in, like like at half times, everything. He is in there, hooting and hollering, getting them rowdy, which is really cool to see. So, yeah, I mean, we talked about it all off season. What was going to be the difference? And so far, the difference in these games have been the lines for us. The O-line has been outstanding. And I really think they've done, I mean, we outrushed Florida 310 to 50 something. I mean, that doesn't happen in the SEC. That's an outrageously difference.
That's a video game.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I know we hear these big giant stats nowadays all the time, and it becomes less impressive. Outrushing a team 310 to 50, a team like Florida that has blue chip talent everywhere, that's insane to me. And so the O-line is pushing, getting people, the backs are where they're supposed to be, the tight ends are blocking, and then the D-line just, I mean, they could not run they could not run the football. Yeah. I mean, their runs were quarterback scrambles, and they just could not run the football.
Well, I think that goes into, it's been interesting to hear kind of the sentiment on the lines, right? Everybody's like, I think going into the season, everybody said, defensive line, we're going to be solid. Offensive line, coin flip up in the air, we don't know, right?
Question mark, yeah.
Yeah, question mark, right? I think both the offensive and the defensive lines have been amazing. And what's funny is a lot of people have been unimpressed with the defensive line because we're not getting 34 sacks a game. But I think if you're able to step back and actually watch the play, the defensive line absolutely has been an anchor. So I think, and again, this is every coach speak on the planet. When you control the line of scrimmage, you win a lot of football games. And when you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, you're going to win a whole lot of football games.
Mm-hmm. They talk on the offensive line that the five guys need time together, and those same five guys need to continue to play. That has not been our case. No. You look at the last game with Crownover and Rubin, they were coming in and out like defensive linemen on changing out, and then you have T.J. Shanahan coming in. So what I love is Cushing has done an amazing job. I love to see what's happened with Rubin because I was hoping that he was going to stay around and continue to improve, and he's emerging really well. But, I mean, when you can put in either of our two right tackles and get the same performance, and we're now on our second string center, and we're continuing to get better. So all these guys that are getting playing time, it's just going to benefit us long term in the end. I really feel like that the story, when the Longhorns come into town, is going to be our offensive line and how they've progressed this year and our ability to run the ball against those guys.
And we talked about last week, something else we talked about last week when we said, hey, we're stopping the run 3 out of 4 times and they would break one, right? It happened in Notre Dame. McNeese even did it a couple of times, but it
didn't really happen.
We said that this is the improvement, right? They're getting better every week. Well, you turn around and this week we just shut down the run. They stopped letting that big play through. They stopped letting giving up big yardage on runs.
The backbreaker plays.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just something we haven't really touched on very much. Marcel Reed. Sudden start us off. I just say the name, you talk.
When you look at the second half of the McNeese game, he missed a lot of easy passes. He just did not look sharp. I was really worried. So at the beginning of the game, I'm watching on the sidelines, and I'm watching Marcel put his helmet on, and I'm like, holy cow. And then when Connor comes over and hits on him, and I'm like, holy cow, he's going in. Connor's not going in. Yeah. And I was really worried. But the athleticism that he possesses that you can't teach, You can't, and he's a coach's kid, so he's super smart. He didn't make any errors. Granted, there was 2 throws that should have been interceptions, but they weren't. He is a difference maker. In my opinion, we're going to need, if you look at our past history at Texas A&M, we need 2 quarterbacks. We're going to need 2 quarterbacks this year. Or 3. And so Connor getting fully healthy, let's let him get fully healthy. If it's Arkansas, great. If it's not, and Marcel continues to have time in the saddle and progress, and we're going to go into the last half of the season with either 2 options as winning quarterbacks. Like, how awesome is that? It's the same way I look at like right tackle. To me, I know everybody focuses on the quarterback, but all 11 positions are just as important. And the right tackles and our centers, we got 2 guys now at these positions. And the more that we get 2 guys across the board is going to benefit us late in the season when we need it.
I like that thinking, Roy.
Well, I mean, if you're just saying, I say Marcel Reed and you talk, this is pretty easy. Like, wow, right?
Yeah.
Can we just say it?
Wow.
All right. Unbelievable performance to be able to step up at what is a true game time decision. So everybody thinks Connor's a game time decision. Well, that makes Marcel Reed a game time decision, right? Yeah. Am I going to play? Am I not going to play? He didn't know, right? I think I saw, and again, a benefit of seeing it on TV. They were showing the quarterbacks throwing. Didn't look like Connor could put a whole lot of mustard on the ball.
Yep.
I don't think Connor needs to play in this game, period. I don't care. An AC joint sprain is good one day, awful the next. It's just such a tough recovery. But man, how electric was that? And you talked about backing up on the first drive, and then all of a sudden it's 21 yards to get to the marker. He's like, all right, and again, he's not Johnny. All right, I have to preface this, so people don't freak out. But his escapability and his mobility and his just athleticism in the open field, when he made, I can't remember the defender's name, made him just look like a complete moron, pretty much.
Yeah, number 12.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Oh, you hit him with the okie doke?
Well, you're talking about I'll say this: his arm slot drives me batty. Yeah. Just as like a former quarterback, it drives me batty. But it works. Okay. Will he improve? I think he actually will. We saw how good he was, before, and now we've seen it in what we, kind of a real live SEC situation. There were receivers running open. He'll figure that out. Because again, I believe in the Elko philosophy of we will get better every week. Yeah. That includes every player on the field, and I guarantee you that he will be ready. In some of the reads that he missed, he won't miss this time.
Mateo?
Yeah. Fantastic job. Fantastic job to get your first start on the road. After and we've seen him be able to put up big numbers throwing the ball. I mean, he did it in the bowl game against Okie Light and to turn around and come out here and play that well. And he fits. It seems, and I'm just echoing what everyone else seems to think too. But he seems to fit Klein's offense. Klein likes to run the quarterback, and hey, get out there. If it's not there, run. And he's got the ability to do some things that are really, really impressive. So.
Well, and I will say, you said that I'm a piggyback on this. If it's not there, get out and run. First start on the road, and I know that he played the bowl game, but this is for real, right? Like bowl games, yeah. I think what we'll see is he will be a little bit slower with his as he's progressions as he's going through it. Because when you're young and you have the legs, it's easy to go, nah, they're all gone, I'm gone. And so I think we saw a little bit of that where maybe he went through his progressions a little too quickly and then he escaped. But he can do it, so it's cool. Yeah. But some of those throws that are there, again, week over week, he'll see them.
Yep. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with our Prize Picks segment brought to you by Prize Picks. It's going to be Matthew Dawson here in studio. Right now we're talking about Rollo Insurance. This studio is named after them. This is the Rollo Insurance Studio. The difference is real with Rollo Insurance. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish your insurance goals. Their headquarters are right here in College Station, but they got 60 offices in the great state of Texas, and I'll tell you about some of them. They got a Houston office, North Texas office, and in the DFW area, East Texas, Austin, San Antonio, West Texas, everything outside of Texas. They'll take care of your car owner insurance, homeowners, farmers, ranchers, hobby farmers, business owners. They will take care of all of it, and their priorities are God, family, and country. Check out their website, rolloinsurance.com. That is rolloinsurance.com. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, The Fan Show, presented by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 in lineups. More of that here in a moment. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Matthew Dawson is here with our Prize Picks segment, where we're going to do more than or less than several stat projections. Matthew?
You know, it was a big week for the table here. You know, unfortunately, David, I think you were the only one that kind of regressed a little bit from the week before.
Yeah, no, that's fortunate for the rest of us.
But fortunately,
Am I in second place overall, though?
Well, there's a three-way tie for second place.
Hey, now.
Roy, David, Matt, you guys are all in second place.
Hunter's just
At
leaving us
10
in
and
the
11
dust.
overall. Last week, though, you went 5-4, Matt. Roy went 5-4 as well. Hunter went 7-2. He's 13-8. It's like 62% on
He
the.
does research, though. He dominates.
He's kind of killing the game.
Sutton's
right
the
now.
No, he doesn't do any research. Like, we show up and get these. Like, we don't get these ahead of time.
Yeah, but
Well,
no,
he did give it to me today at 9:30. I sent it to you at
Well, see, like I can't be. Some of these numbers don't come out, until the day.
You and
of.
Hunter are texting on the side. You tell him the day before, don't you? That's what it is.
No,
it's
Hunter's
collusion.
telling me
It's collusion.
what to play. No, Hunter's telling me what to
Hunter's
play.
calling me him.
Well, let's do it. We got a Miller Moss sighting?
We got OB's favorite Miller Moss sighting. The first one we're going to talk about, Miller Moss to have more than or less than 260.5 passing yards.
So I'm gonna stick with my plan from last week. I'm gonna go against my better judgment. I'm gonna say less than.
Doing the Costanza.
Yeah, I mean, playing US or they're playing Michigan on the road.
Michigan.
So I don't think Miller Moss is better than Quinn Ewers yet, and Quinn Ewers threw all over them for 249 yards, 246 yards. Okay, so I'm going to say less than on Miller Moss.
You knew 246 instead of 249. Is he Rain Man?
He remembers.
I remember because that was like a key number because I took the less than at 243.5, and at the week there was at one point where it was 246.5. It was like so I didn't hit it, because I didn't get it at the right number. It's burning my brain.
You learn the lesson quicker when you get paddled.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm more than on Moss. I think that I don't think Michigan's any good.
I'm more than Michigan's is terrible.
Okay.
Alrighty. This is an interesting one because this number is so
Just pitifully
funny to
low.
me.
It's a funny number, yeah.
Alex Orji, the quarterback for Michigan now. Davis Warren was the other quarterback. He threw 6 picks in 3 games, 2 of them against G5 teams. Now you got Alex Orji's passing yards number at 127.5. So
we go for like 9 yards on the year or something like that. It's
yeah, he hasn't attempted a lot of passes.
Exponentially would be
I'm
quite
going
the
more
increase.
than.
All right.
I'm going more than.
Because of USC's defense?
Because of USC's defense, yes.
No, because he's going against common.
Going against
logic.
everything that my body is telling me. So I'm going to go more than. I think he's going to throw for less, but I'm going to go more.
There's a part of me that wants to go more than just because I think USC might be, even though they've looked good so far, I'm going to go less than because the guy hasn't thrown it all and Michigan wants to run the ball. So I'm going to say less than.
I'm the same. I think we have less chance for Orgy this weekend. I think it's going to be USC.
Bummer.
I'm with Browning for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I'm going more than. I think he had. Look, Pac-12 passing defenses have historically give up 40 points a game. All right, and they're going to have to throw the ball. Like they're going to have to.
Yeah.
127.5 is so pitifully low. Like all I need him to do is throw for 130 yards. 130.
Yeah.
Well, you want to hear a crazy stat? So last week they played against Arkansas State at home. Guess how many passes were caught by wide receivers for Michigan last week?
2.
3.
Yeah, nailed it. 2. Literally 2 passes were caught. It was the same wide receiver. 2 passes for 3 yards.
How many drops?
I don't know that number.
Yes, that would be my curiosity. So
Yeah.
wide receivers in Michigan, stick them, buy some.
All right, what's
next one? Nico Iamaleava. More than 251.5 passing yards against Oklahoma.
All right, I'm not going against my instincts on this one. This one's the easiest one of the week. He's going to throw for more than.
More than.
More than.
More.
Next.
All right, Jackson Arnold to have more than or less than 243.5
Less.
against Tennessee.
I'm going more because they're going to be so far down, they're going to have to keep airing the ball out. So, again, this is yeah.
We're about
more.
to find out about Tennessee's defense for real. They haven't given up a touchdown all year long. They haven't, NC State's a name, but they haven't played anybody. But I think that says something. But I'm going to go less than.
Less than. We'll find out who the real UT is this weekend.
More. They're going to be playing catch up.
Alrighty, the next one. We're going to go to running backs here. Phil Maffa, the running back of Clemson, plays against NC State at home. 98.5 rushing yards.
More than.
I love that, David, by the way.
Thank you. Finally, you said that.
I'm going to go more than as well because I feel like he's going to have less.
More than with Clemson with the P.
Yeah, more.
Love that. Love that from the tape. I'm with you guys.
I think
have
it's kind
that.
of easy.
I have that in my lineup.
Easy peasy.
He's so good. Next one, Donovan Edwards, Michigan running back, to have more than or less than 57.5 rushing yards against USC.
More than.
Less.
Less than.
Less.
What do you think?
I think it's less.
Come on.
Khalil Mullings, if you watch the games, Khalil Mullings is the better running back, and he's continuing to vulture carries. Plus, Alex Orji is a running quarterback.
Well, and Alex Orji's also going to throw for about 137 yards to set some records.
So, absolutely shatter Michigan records. So
for the season.
Next.
All right. Ollie Gordon, the running back of Oklahoma State, playing against
Utah.
Utah. Thank you so much. To have more than or less than 82.5 rushing yards.
I think this is a high-scoring game. I love Cam Rising. I really like Utah, but Ollie Gordon is a dude. I will always take more on Ollie Gordon until they start hitting like 120s is the number.
Dawson, remind me, he hasn't had the best start to his, right?
No, I think he's only averaging a little less than 4 yards a carry.
And he's the best running back in football.
They're loading boxes when they play
He's
Ollie
bad
Gordon.
to the bone.
Yeah, I like Utah in this game, so I'm going to say less.
I'm going to go more than because I think they're going to have to rely on him.
Less.
All right.
What are you doing, Dawson?
I'd like to see his total, receiving and rushing. I'd like to see that number too. That'd be a good one.
I'd like to see that as well.
I love him in the open field.
I'm staying away from this one completely because I don't know what Utah's going to do. I mean, Morgan Scalley, D coordinator there, is awesome.
Yep.
I don't know what he's going to do.
See, I think the rushing plus receiving might be a really good play if it's available for Ollie Gordon because he's just such a weapon. I love him in the open field.
It might be closer to like 100, something like that. We'll see.
Next.
Dylan Sampson, the running back of Tennessee, to have more than or less than 85.5 rushing yards.
More.
Yeah, this is more. This is the easiest one to me on this whole thing.
More.
Less.
Ooh.
Going with your opposite of your gut.
You're
like George Costanza.
What I'm actually doing is waiting to see what all y'all pick.
Yeah,
so I go
see,
that's how you catch back up.
Or you get further
I've always been stuck at the very front, so I want to get further, either catch up or get even further behind.
Well, also, to make you feel better, Matt, I mean, picks that you guys have all agreed on as a table, I think you're like 3-6 on the years.
Yeah.
Solid.
So solid.
It's good strategy.
The Orgy's passing stats, 3 of 6.
Exactly.
It's a Costanza. That's right.
Let's get to the wide receivers. Andrew Armstrong of Arkansas playing against, help me out here.
Auburn.
Auburn. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
Have more than or less than 75.5 receiving yards.
More than easy peasy. He's had 130 in one game, 120. I just helped everybody out.
Yep. Arkansas wins this game on the road, and Armstrong more.
Yeah, more.
Less.
That's saving the table here.
It's over. You had a good run.
Kyron Lacey, the wide receiver for LSU, to have more than or less than 76.5 receiving yards against UCLA.
Not a fan of him, but he's good.
He is good.
More than.
That's not a pick.
More.
It's just a
LSU
judgment.
rolls UCLA.
UCLA is flat out hot garbage. So
Agreed.
So yeah, more.
Less.
Wow. This could be a scary week for you, Matt, or an awesome one.
Could be.
One or the other.
Hey, I'm optimistic. It's gonna be good.
Which means you should be pessimistic.
Yes.
Next up, Deion Burks, the wide receiver for Oklahoma, playing against Tennessee, of course, to have more than or less than 59.5 receiving yards.
I feel like this is a low number in a game. They're going to have to air it out a lot, so I'm going to take more.
I'm taking less. Less on Burks.
Go ahead. You're waiting on me?
Yeah.
What's the number again?
59.5.
Going less. Less than. Okay. He's had 80, 53, and 36.
More.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Mine is based solely off the fact that I think they're going to be so far behind that they're going to have no choice.
Yeah.
All right, the last one of the day, wide receiver for Colorado, Travis Hunter, to have more than or less than 97.5
He's
receiving.
always more than. That's always the answer.
You're residential Colorado hater.
I do not.
I'll preface my pick with this: sick 'em for this week only. Go Baylor. All right, but I got to take more.
Yeah, I want the Green Frogs to win this game, so I'm going to say less on Hunter.
Well, you got a decision to make here.
I'm going less because I know you're going to go more, so less.
Well, for those of you that liked the more than on that play, there actually is a discount for the next couple hours here. Travis Hunter to have more than 71.5 receiving yards, which he's hit.
Oh, I better do that right now.
Yeah, you have to.
1,000%.
Folks that are watching this, if you're on Prize Picks, you need to hit that right now. If you're not on Prize Picks, of course, use code TexAgs to get $50.
Doesn't take long to sign up.
First $5. It doesn't take long to sign up. The table. I mean, so far, Roy, how's your experience been?
I mean, I enjoy it. I suck at it, but I enjoy it.
Well, you'll get better.
Hunter loves it.
You'll get better.
Well, what's funny is
money.
the picks I've been putting in have been different. Like I went NFL last week, so. Well, no, actually, I combined it. The Jackson Dart's what hosed me last week because I figured I should have realized that Lane Kiffin was just going to leave the foot on the gas because I took the under on him because I figured he'd be benched because they'd be beating him so badly.
Dawson, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Got it.
We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with one final segment here on TexAgs Live, the fan show brought to you by Prize Picks. Right now, FBS Appliance and their team of experts are here to help you find the appliances that make your house a home. They carry all the top brands, but really it comes down to the pricing and the customer service and just the good people that work there at FBS Appliance. By the way, they do have an office or a showroom right here in College Station, 8 showrooms across the great state of Texas. They pride themselves on offering a comprehensive solution that sets them apart from the competition, and they specialize in providing top-notch sales and installation services for all the leading brands, ensuring a seamless experience for all of their customers. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas or find them online, factorybuilderstores.com. That is factorybuilderstores.com. The day with Double Dave's caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984. They have your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Fan Show brought to you by PrizePicks. Gentlemen, we spent 52 minutes and really haven't talked to Bowling Green. Bowling Green is not a team that should beat A&M, but they can beat anybody.
Bowling Green is a team that does beat the likes of an A&M just about once every year.
Yeah.
They're kind
They're like
of
App State.
They're that, well, no. App
But
State
they're
was,
built like the way App State was when they came here. All fourth and fifth year guys.
A lot of upperclassmen that played over a lot of ball, and they're probably not going to make a bunch of bonehead mistakes. They're not going to be overwhelmed with Kyle Field. I mean, even though Kyle's going to be lit on Saturday night, I still think that it's going to be a slug.
Did Sutton just say lit?
Yeah, he's part of the community.
He is.
He goes to the meetings.
Hey, Sutton's got Riz.
You know what Riz means?
I've got teenagers.
Yeah,
Sutton's got Riz.
You know what Riz means? You do.
We are 22.5-point favorites for a reason. And I get that Bowling Green is, if you asked me to talk about if we were to cover that, I would tell you yes. What I've seen, again, week to week improvement. You know what? Vegas knows stuff. Vegas has never paid their own light bill. You want to know why? Because we pay the light bill in Vegas. We're 22.5-point favorites. I could slide a little bit. I like this team. I like the direction it's going. It's at home. The crowd's going to be wild after that Florida road game. Yeah, that road win. I love the Ags all over this, despite Bowling Green being that program.
Okay, let me see how you guys feel about this. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I do know that teams like Fordham have run on them. Penn State has run all over them.
Yeah.
They may be 1-1, but teams can run on them. What does A&M do really well?
We can run the ball.
We run the ball.
Shout out, last week, Hunter Shirtless said this, who's your key to the game, and he said Le'Veon Moss. So shout out to Hunter, even though he's not here. He nailed it. I said to Amari Daniels, I thought Amari had a good game.
He did.
Absolutely.
Well, and even EJ on short yardage did a really nice job.
So if you can run, again, control the line of scrimmage, and that's running, man.
Hey, and EJ being on the field really hurt those Florida fans. No, hey,
that was the last.
They knew Emmett was cheering for the Aggies, even though he did the 4-bits thing before the game.
By the way, he better be rooting for his son.
Yeah, there's no way you're not. There's no way you're not.
Well, you're in Gator blue and orange to lead 2 bits, and then you're in maroon at the end of the game.
Hey, when they showed up at the hotel, apparently they were all Aggie'd out. Full on A&M garb. Which is awesome.
It's neat to go back and do the 2-bit. Like, it's cool to be honored like that, and he absolutely deserves it. Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, they say he's probably done it more than anybody. So he's done it quite a few times, but it's pretty wise because they knew he was going to come in cheering for A&M. And they were like, well, no, let's go ahead and honor him while he's here. Maybe he'll, remember his Florida roots kind of. So it was pretty funny.
No.
We got a minute left. Is this the game that we get maybe a receiver with over 100 yards?
I think that this is a game that I appreciate the fact that they took Penn State to the wire. This is not a game that they're going to overlook. They're going to, oh wait, hold on, this team can play. So hopefully we'll be focused all week. We'll get everything done, and yes, let's air the ball out a little bit.
Son?
Yeah, we win this game going away. I do think that you're going to be frustrated again in the second half because we're not going to throw the ball very much. I won't be surprised if we see Jalen Henderson some of the second half.
That kind of blowout.
And yeah, I think I think our offensive line has found their identity. I think they're stepping into that, and I think they want that. And I do think if you look at Elko, he called out the run defense after last week. What did we do? We did a great job on run defense. He's called them out on penalties. I think we clean up the penalties, and I think we just strangle them.
I've got Marshall Reed going over 300 total yardage.
I love it. All right, 5-second answer. 5-second. If Florida played Bowling Green neutral site field, who would be favored?
Florida.
Florida.
All right, there you go. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Thursday. Tomorrow, Benelucci. The final countdown, Steve and Seth McKinney. We'll have Olin Buchanan. And we'll have the head coach of Bowling Green on the program. How about that? Loeffler on the show. Thanks, guys. We'll see you mañana.